Hello, and welcome back to the Contraband, where 6 Shakespeare actors play Blades in the Dark, an RPG about daring criminals seeking their fortunes in the haunted industrial city of Doskvol. This show is smuggled to you through dark canals and misty streets by Ghostlight RPGs, a semi-secret society steadfastly keeping the lamp lit, even when theaters are dark. If this haphazard creation pleases you, we humbly invite you to follow us down this dimly lit alleyway, or subscribe by holding up your lamp when the boat passes at midnight. If you do, you'll be notified of our activities. I'm Ted Bushman, Game Master. Joining me on this tale of corrupt cops, ruthless renegades, and anarchist assemblymen are Jamie Hansen, Ben Isaacs, Kristen Perkins, Graham Ward, and Carson Wright. Now, I want you all to introduce yourselves and your characters and your pronouns. But also, I'll ask the question of what animal that is not domesticated would you like to have as a pet? So, let's start with Jamie Hansen. You have 0 seconds.
Okay, hi, yeah, I'm Jamie Hansen. I'm playing Varric, he, him, and non-domesticated animal that I would love to have as a pet. Always liked the idea of giant snake.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
If my dad is in the chat, which he very much might be at Varric's, he would be very much in approval of that, having owned several snakes as a young child.
Ooh, yes. Always appealing.
Yeah, very cool. Ben Isaacs.
Yeah, I'm Ben Isaacs. He, they. I'm playing Hix Templeton, and I don't know. I'd like to run with wild horses. I don't know.
Set.
I don't want to keep any creatures.
You don't want to own them. Yes.
I don't want to own them. What are you doing to me?
You want to be free alongside them.
Yeah.
Respect. Kristen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen Perkins. I use she, her pronouns, and I play the woman, the girl, the nameless she, who sometimes goes by Tess Buck. Oh, I got so stressed out, and my first thought was cow, because I like cows. Turns out they're domesticated, everybody. So I think I'm going to go with like monkeys, which are not domesticated, and people shouldn't keep them as pets. But if they were domesticated, it would be sweet, because they're so smart.
Cute and smart. Yeah. Great choices. Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham Ward. My pronouns are he, him. If I had like a ranger companion or something, it would probably be a wolf. Yeah, I think wolves. I want wolf pups. And yes. I guess wolf adults by extension. But I don't think my family would appreciate having them around. I don't know. I have a very large dog though, so I'm just fascinated by physically imposing animals. So it would probably be that or an elephant or something.
Yeah.
That's I was going to say, that's why we're such good friends. Physically imposing animals.
Oh, man. I've always say about dogs, like, if it is not large enough to, like, run beside me into battle and rip out the throats of my enemies, like, why do I have it? You know, like that.
Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Anyway.
My enemies are of a different kind.
And Carson Wright.
Well, Bush Baby. There it is. I'm Carson Wright. He, him, and Bush Baby. Done.
All right, we're set. Aldo must run also.
Oh, yes. Pshaw.
Your character, in case you're interested in that. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We're so excited to play and for you guys to see a little bit of it. The discerning viewer will, once, if I'm understanding correctly, Carson, once the game begins, they will see some statistics right in the middle of the screen and stuff. So you don't see those. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say some statistics. Sometimes we'll pop in and out relating to the characters, relating to the crew, as far as XP and our stress mechanics and things that might float in and out for your enjoyment and information.
Yeah, so this is Carson once again, like, all he needed to make was like a wooden backdrop for our stage play, but instead he's built a clock. It's like this wonderfully deep and complex system that is going to be so helpful for us, but also for you as viewers. So what you will know from most role-playing games is that everybody usually has a character sheet for their individual character. In Blades, everybody at the table is an integral part of the crew, and the crew also has its own sort of character sheet. And you're going to see a lot of the important statistics about that in the middle of the screen there. So you're going to see the tier of the crew, which currently is tier 1, which means they are an absolutely puny organization in a big city. Tiers go from 0 to 6. They've also got a little heat, which indicates the interest that the police have in them and in arresting them. And their wanted level is at 1, which means that if a member of the crew was to be arrested, they would go to jail for, a few months. So nothing major. Not yet. In our first session, Bram lost a fist fight while Varric and Tess successfully stole coin from a lieutenant of the Butcher's gang. The crew made a relatively safe delivery, bringing Quicksilver from a hidden lab beneath a railjack tenement to a group of actors called the Velvet Patchworks. Bram attended a speech by People's Explosive Party candidate Robert Boom on the eve of the Charhall election, and the girl, Tess, was taken in by the police where she was interrogated by Andre Moreland about a gang of smugglers he's been hearing about. As the session was concluding, the gang learned that Robert Boom had, against all common expectations, been elected to the King's Assembly. For now, everything seems somewhat calm. Sure, the police are looking for them, but when isn't that the case? So now the question is how to get more money and reputation. I'll end our intro with a content warning. The Contraband is a crime drama set in a dark and unpleasant city. Episodes will almost certainly contain strong language and violence and may occasionally also include sex, oppressive working conditions, and encounters with the gruesome undead. So, load your flintlock pistol, keep your eyes sharp, and descend with us into The Contraband. The crew's lair sits in a half-sunken canal beneath a silk shore brothel. Anyone down there can sometimes hear Madame Belorma talking and laughing with Oyun and the other girls who work there. The rough Penny, your small vessel, lies covered with a blanket. The mud is full of footprints. If one was to look out through the archway, they would see a long and open bay reaching towards the lightning wall and eventually beyond to the void sea. The city is quiet for now, but the ripplings of change can be felt even from here, like something through the ghost field. A question for all of you. How do your characters hear their news and their rumors, do you think? Does Bram steal newspapers from people and read them, or does he overhear things in bars? Does Hix get tips from the neighborhood urchins? How does that work for people? And who's the most connected in the crew and who's has no idea what's going on? I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on that.
I don't think Bram has anything near the wherewithal to acquire a newspaper. Not that he doesn't now, it's not even he's worried about how he's gonna get food, and he likes to lurk a lot, so he'll be around and he'll catch conversations, particularly from Madame Belorma
Sure.
and others. And then just in terms of, I think, our experience with the crew, probably from you all. He's just around eating something or smoking a cigar, and he listens to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Aldo is similar like that, working sometimes at the Ring or whatever as a sort of a nurse. I think still kind of working there as a fight doctor, would hear things from the people fighting there, from around there generally, and probably relies upon his friends, probably Hix, to... I'm guessing. I don't want to speak for you, Hix.
We're all gonna say Hix gives us.
Yeah. I have an impressive intelligence network. Impressive to me. I'm really trying to impress, if I'm being honest. I keep a pretty tight schedule throughout the nights. I hit up different locations throughout the city where mostly the orderlies or the workers are congregating to drink and to relax. I just know I have friends in each of these places. We try to have a good time together, and they tell me things. I also employ orphans, just street urchin orphans, which there's kind of a lot in Silkworm. For one reason or another, but yeah, just give them a little bit of money to let me know of anything interesting. Train them up to notice things that would be interesting to someone like me. So yeah, that's the basics of it. I mean, the other details, I'm not going to tell any of you.
Far too secret. With the swig.
Keep your secrets.
I love it.
I intend to.
I think the girl doesn't have the network Hix does, but is also moves a lot about the city, has family in many different places and many different districts of the city, and is just sort of always blending into the backdrops of things and listening, but without the same sort of social network of information, but very much sort of moving and listening intently.
I love it. That's great. What about Jamie? How about Varric?
Yeah. Varric's main sources of information are arguably Oyun. He'll talk to her about the gossip that's going around, and if he wants any news from the upper classes, he basically has to wait for whenever Kirol will see him and then kind of drag him for information. But he does like to read the newspaper, but only the opinion section most mornings.
Yo, that's useful. That's useful.
Good friggin' stuff.
Gotta keep your finger on the pulse.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the sort of stream of some of the things that are flowing around Doskvol. And some of these rumors might be important and some of them might not be. Who knows? Like, this is just sort of what is coming to you via all of the different channels that you have. So the first one is that labor unrest is rising in the districts of Night Market and Coleridge. Proponents argue that even though the city is actually prospering more than it ever has since the breaking, largely because of the rail lines and the Ministry of Preservation, injuries, disease, and working hours are on the rise. And opponents of the unrest argue that the flames are being fanned by bad faith actors, people who really don't, are just trying to get a rise from people. For the players, I'm dropping this in our Discord, so you will have the text. You don't have to necessarily take notes on this if you want.
Well, fine then.
I mean, please do. But I'm just saying, I don't. If you,
I'm just gonna listen.
This is where I wish I could go. Oh, here's the rumors screen, and then.
Yeah. We're fine with already the incredible thing you've built. So, second rumor. You learn that the primus of the Spirit Wardens, dressed in full regalia and silver mask, gave a sermon at the Sanctorium last week, condemning the practice of attuning to the ghost field. The sermon coincides with a rise in suspected cult activity in Doskvol and the sale of occult artifacts. A Silk Shore tabloid, which calls itself the Discreet Observer, published a piece about the royal family, claiming that the king is furious with Princess Livia and has forbidden her to leave the Sapphire Palace. The Observer, displaying the expected imagination of tabloids, suspects that the young princess is spending her evenings involved in forbidden sexual trysts, and lists a dozen possible suitors from the noble houses, including an up-and-coming merchant named Kirol Fairwind.
What? Kirol's knocking boots with Lavinia.
A club of Brightstone noblemen and their hounds went out beyond the Lightning Wall last week into the Deathlands. Although they returned with 5 trophies of mutated Deathlands beast, Brace Meriden, their leader, called the hunt disappointing.
Much to look forward to.
That was like a 3-act play.
A man named Craig Fates was killed or died during the latest combat for the Mudfire Crown, which is Doskvol's best-known pugilistic tournament and one in which Bram is a contender. Normally, killing your opponent results in disqualification, surprise, but that did not happen since the death didn't occur until 2 hours after the fight. The man who was responsible, the opponent and assumed cause of death, was Judas Pickett, a Tycherosi man whose left arm and eyes are entirely black due to his demonic blood, which is sort of a common trait among Tycherosi people. All of the men and women he's fought so far in the Crown have been severely injured, and only one of them is known to have recovered. Another one. Bluecoats across Charter Hall held several bonfires this last week, burning forbidden political pamphlets and books by thinkers whose work is considered dangerous. The Rejuvenators, a small party of the King's Assembly, expressed distaste with this, declaring that literacy and critical political thought should be encouraged among the common people, even if it's with wrong-headed ideas. Robert Boom, the new assemblyman, spoke up in agreement with the Rejuvenators and was opposed by pro-industry assembly members like Hannah Cleon of Six Towers. After much discussion, the assembly compromised and said that Bluecoat precincts will, with no questions asked, pay 1 copper for contraband pamphlets and a silver for forbidden books, thus allowing people to gain some benefit from getting rid of these political tracts that people don't like. The Bluecoats have half-heartedly implemented the plan, but very little money has actually gotten into the hands of the intended recipients. It just keeps disappearing in the paperwork somehow. In the opinion section, Varric probably found this interesting bit and sort of had to dig a little bit into some newspaper, but he's found eventually there was a journalist in Night Market writing for the Lamplight published a detailed and lengthy article stringing together a half-dozen recent deaths into a narrative. These deaths included a crow's foot butcher whose store stood with its back to the canal, a campaign advisor to an assembly candidate, a husband of an up-and-coming night market merchant, an architect tasked with renovating a number of sewer lines, a Coleridge vagrant affectionately named Old Sam, and a Six Towers painter who hanged herself. The journalist, a woman named Reverence Culp, claims that the deaths are connected and likely perpetrated by the same individual. She is seeking more evidence to help her understand who might be responsible. The editors of the Lamplight kept the article hidden deep in the back of the paper as the journalism was somewhat bare bones, and the university press published a mocking satire article in the same tone the next day. And then a final thing that you hear about, you might probably hear about this from Kirill, Varric, which is that the Mara Hardenbrook annual scholarship competition just began its applications, and students from across Brightstone and Charter Hall began preparing immediately. Tutors have been whipped into shape, helping edit or write essays from scratch. The person selected will not only have their entire schooling paid for at the university, but will also be placed into a 6-month mentorship program during which they will have several meetings with Miss Hardenbrook, learning the skills that has made her one of Doskvol's most successful merchants. So, all of this is sort of the portrait of the kinds of things that are happening in Doskvol at the moment. But all of you are now, you've just finished your score and have, the time is yours to do the downtime actions you would like to do. So how does everyone spend the next few weeks? During downtime, all players can do 2 specific type of actions that are downtime actions, things like acquiring assets or working on long-term projects, indulging their vice, reducing heat, and also without cost, without it counting towards the downtime action, can search for information on anything that they want. There's no limit to the amount of times you can gather information during downtime. So, time is yours.
Okay. I think I need to start a long-term project.
Okay.
I think I have a guess of what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am concerned about our heat.
Yeah.
So, why not kill a cop? I mean, it seems like it might not work. But, I mean, this guy seems really bad.
Yeah.
He was really awful. So I'd like to track his movements and discover when he's vulnerable.
Great. Yeah, you want to track Wilkes Stanbury. So I think, honestly, I would make this a 4-part clock. So draw a circle, put a cross in it, and it'll be finding Wilkes Stanbury, or finding Wilkes, we can say. That'll be
I mean, then it's...
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I want to be able to confront him, and I want to gather information that I can use to blackmail him.
Ooh, cool. Yeah, I'm into it. That's great. So yeah, starting your long-term project, you can basically say what action, like how you would go about trying to learn about him and his movements, and then depending on how you roll, we'll fill in some slots on that clock. And get you a little bit of information about Wilkes Stanbury and his what he's up to.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and roll hunt.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
And what that is going to look like is I'm just going to learn the old-fashioned way by following him.
Classic.
And getting other people to follow him. In my network and interact with him. And I really want to have a sketch in my mind about what his routines are. and
That's
his
great.
timing.
Cool.
And I rolled 2 6s.
Ooh, that is a critical success. Which let me recall how many. I think that does that fill 5 slots on a clock.
I think that's what we discovered.
I think
today.
it does. We just learned that today.
Yes.
So you know exactly what Wilkes Danbury is
What
up
did
to.
I see him doing?
I love
I
that
get
this
it?
guy's only crime was just kind of underestimating and being a little rude to Hix. Nope.
I mean, this guy is like throwing his weight around. I
And
mean,
then
he
took-
just
And took the girl in for questioning. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And,
Yeah. This dude is.
I mean, I don't think I know how that ended up shaking out. I mean, unless
we heard
I
about
mean,
it.
Kristen, do you think that
That is
you
a good
would've-
question. Yeah,
you
what
would've
happened?
told
Did you
us
tell
about
her?
that?
I don't think she would have mentioned anything.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
so all you know
I
is-
mean, he just seemed like he was really trying to flex on people, which seems like he's compensating for something, and I think he really cares about how people see him. So I want to get something over on him and get some evidence that I can present him with and give him a choice to help us out, and
That's
so
great.
that he works for us now.
All right, very cool. I am getting blurry. I've become so drunk with power. Give me a second here. You track Wilkes Danbury for several days. He is. You learn that he's a captain at the the Six Towers precinct. That was where you were to the east of Six Towers when you were heading back to bring the Quicksilver to the Velvet Patchworks. He does his patrols there. He often, it looks like, tries to get the boat patrols because it means he doesn't have to walk so much. So he clearly seems to be sort of abusing his leadership position for the sake of, his own comfort, which is not that surprising given the Bluecoats and their general nature. But you are interested to find that he is... you track him for a few nights and have some people sort of watching the precinct itself, and notice that he stays late a few nights, and notice that he is actually taking documents from inside the precinct, putting them into a folder, and bringing them with him, and leaving the precinct, and then heading into other parts of town. You see him, he's then meeting clandestinely with other people in regions of Silkshore. He appears to be selling Bluecoat's secrets on the side to other groups who may be interested in those secrets.
This is a critical success.
Yeah. Yep. You know the house where he does it. It is a small sort of wrecked townhouse where he's meeting folks. It's one of there are 3 locations where he's generally doing it, but that's one of the most common location. So yeah, you know all the places where he goes to sell it. So yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm happy to know all of that. I'll think of something to do.
Cool. Great. So yeah, that was your first downtime action. Critical
Great.
success. Holy crap. Yeah. What are other people up to during their own downtimes?
Well, at some point, the girl would like to approach Aldo about a project she would like to start and needs help on.
Awesome. What does that interaction look like? Is it at the Queen's Magnolia? Are you meeting elsewhere? Yeah.
I think if you're going to find me right now, it is going to be in the lab.
Yes, and I think I also want to catch you in the lab. So she's sort of heading down to the Queen's Magnolia, nervously knocking on the door.
Yes, come in. Sort of confused at the knock.
Yeah.
It's hi, hello.
Oh, hello. He turns it around just for a moment, and you'll see there are like a small pile of dead rats like on the table, and like kind of an alembic alchemy kind of station with some things going on right now, and he's got some goggles on. He's sort of focused in on this, kind of rubbing his eye,
Like
and pulling
holding
hair
a
out
rat in his
face.
hand as it like
Yeah,
lets out
just
its
a little
final
bit.
breaths.
Well, yeah, and he kind of sticks it for a minute and waits to watch it. And, one moment, okay. And he sets it down back in the cage and
I mean,
turns around.
I would really hate to interrupt. It seems
Oh,
like
no. Please, no. This is a perfect time. Come in. Sit. And he like pushes some stuff off of Bram's cot or whatever. You can sit here. I don't know how much you're sleeping there, Bram, but
more now than usual.
Okay, good. Anyway, yes, have a seat. Oh, what do you need?
Well, I have a project. I've tried to actually work on it myself. As you know, I'm handy with needle and thread, but it's a little more. Well, it requires some engineering that I'm not capable of doing myself, and I wondered if you might be willing to help.
Well, of course. I'm sure we could find some time and some space in here. If we, I guess, what is it you're thinking?
Well, as you know, sometimes it is useful for me to suddenly, drastically change my presentation. Specifically when I'm, in the black clothes and which are handy for all sorts of reasons, for all sorts of legitimate reasons, and also for, as you know. But when I need to transition from that to a different person, perhaps to Jilly, who I know you've met.
Yes.
It would be useful to have a contraption that would allow me to drop into a dress, right? So black clothes, but a dress maybe engineered to be compressed about my middle, that if I pull a cord, right, and it drops, and I am suddenly, I'm suddenly, oh, I'm so sorry, and I'm, that sort of a person.
Yes, of course, yes. So, you need my assistance in, I mean, I can do a little bit of sewing, of course, but you need me to find a way to make it drop, as you say.
Well, I've seen you sew skin together, and I think my stitch work is a little better. But yes, the engineering of it, the engineering of the dropping of the skirt.
I will. Okay. Yes, of course. I would love to help you. Here, we can. And he starts immediately pushing over. The rat back in the cage is expired.
Saved for the moment.
Another one. No worry. And he pushes kind of the cage out to the side, and he's immediately ready to help. Did you want to start right now? I mean, I can put this off for a moment.
Sure. I mean, that would be great.
Wonderful.
Awesome. So we'd probably treat this as another long-term project. I think developing it, let's say it's a 6-part clock. So yeah, you'll draw a down and then 2 more slashes.
Now,
anyway.
Mechanically, will this be a long-term project that I am assisting her on this clock as well, so she might need to roll the sewing and I roll the engineering, or is this, I don't know what you imagined.
That's a good call.
Tess, but also.
Yeah, what did you imagine, Kristen?
I think Aldo sort of helps with a schematic, perhaps.
Cool.
And I'm sort of doing all the sewing. So I don't know if that's a joint project and we both get a roll, or...
Yeah, I imagine maybe you getting an extra die from Aldo, just sort of like a standard aid during a score. Cool. So and you can roll. I mean, Tinker is probably going to be the best.
I'm going to take stress for it if it's a standard aid.
Okay, take 1 stress then.
Yeah, I like that. It seems right.
Yeah, that works. Or is there an action that you think would be preferable for this?
finesse, but I think Tinker makes more sense. Let's do Tinker.
Tinker probably does make more sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Just the top die?
Yeah, the higher number.
6.
Yeah. Amazing. So that fills 3 chunks on your clock. So you were halfway to discovering. So what does that look like? What is partially getting it right? Is there a point where like at one point you tried the drop and like sort of the umbrella arms of it, I'm imagining, like go kind of wrong and just like leave all these like scratches along your side or something? That's actually something.
Yeah, I think something like that. So Aldo has provided me with a schematic and this does make sense. You're right. And then so she's sort of in her costume shop with the velvet patchworks, hiding the project that she's working on in the pile of other clothes.
Oh, that's great.
And that, at some point she tries to pull the ripcord and is like struggling with it. And yeah, the thing balloons out and leaves. I like that. The scratches down her side from where the hoop skirt has sort of tried to
expanded.
Extend.
Yeah.
Gone wrong. Yeah. So it's definitely, you're like, okay, I think, so you're like, once I can get back to the workshop, we can do some more and work on it. That's great.
And then I take 2 level 2 harm for that.
It's like pierces into your
It's like stabbing you.
You break 3 ribs.
Bram does expect a thorough description of the style and patterns of the dress when it's done.
Oh, yes,
Bram
yes.
does.
Yeah, I need it for
Well,
someone
I'll tell
else.
Bram later.
All right. What else are people doing during downtime?
At some point, if Varric is around, Bram will just be like casually enjoying a noontime drink and just like seemingly lazing about the our headquarters here. If Varric is around, though, he'll kind of just like slowly come over, sit down, and he's like, just like fiddling with cup or whatever he's got, and he keeps looking over at Varric, and then eventually he's like, how you doing?
Gee, fine. Great.
Good. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, you were talking the other day about this, what's his name? This bloke,
I'm looking at the rumors.
Kirill. Kirill?
Yes, my friend Kiro, yes.
Oh, so you know him pretty well then?
Well, yes, I'd say, yeah, he's
Thick as thieves, the two of you are.
in a manner of speaking, yes. A little less so now. I see him less often than I used to, perhaps. But...
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He was just quiet for a minute, and he's like,
So I heard some rumors about him and his escapades. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm afraid. No, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
No, you're not stupid, right? You know. People are saying he's going around with the princess.
Sure, people are saying that, but lots of people say lots of things about people. There's no proof that that's what he's doing.
But
Okay,
you're his friend. You know him.
Yes,
You know him
I
real-
know him. He'd have told me if that was the case. I don't know why he would hide such a thing.
So you don't think it's true?
No, it couldn't be true.
You go to see this guy a lot, or what?
Reasonably often, he's the source of some connections in the noble world.
I'm sure that's great, but like, you gonna see him this week?
Yes.
Okay, good.
and just thinks about it for a little while again.
You're not planning on coming along, are you?
What, is that a problem?
Oh, no.
He's a reasonable, he's a good bloke, right? So he'll make conversation, he'll have tea or whatever the fuck it is you do.
Yes, it's just I don't know if perhaps I should bring you to his house. Just perhaps you should meet somewhere more public.
Why?
Bram starts like fiddling with the huge split in his lip that is still there from last fight.
Bram, present yourself in a certain way that I.
What is that way exactly? How do I present myself?
Well, you still look like you're bleeding, and you have a certain
Yeah.
aggression, which I admire, but which might come across poorly in a social situation.
I don't always have to be aggressive. I can make small talk.
Didn't you kick someone in the face at the last dinner party we went to?
Yeah. Well, dinner party is sort of an exaggeration, I say.
It was just... I do worry that your attitude towards those in power might lead you to do something rash, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Forget it then. Never mind.
I'm not saying you can't come. I'd like some reassurance that nothing bad will happen to Kirill's face.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Of course. All right. Just had to make sure.
Yeah, let's go.
Now.
Well, I don't know. When are you going to see him next?
Yeah, no, I want to see him. Actually, I had something to talk to you about while we're on the way to see him. And I don't think I told anyone really about the Water Lily Society and the Keltree Sisterhood stuff today.
Cool.
Yeah.
In the process of this, Bram has put on a tie. His shirt is like unbuttoned down to the chest, like mid down his chest, but he's got a tie on.
What type of shoes does Bram have?
Oh, he's put on whatever he always wears when he wears shoes. He probably has like big high top dress shoes that could use a shine.
So you guys are leaving, you're heading out of Silkshore, whether this happens the next day or whatever, sure. That you're heading to see Kirill. I wanted to make a quick clarification, which is that in the last game, a rude sailor who Bram was fighting referred to him as an old man, and I feel like we may have gotten the wrong impression about Bram's age. How old is Bram, and how would you appear to us?
Brahm's like 40.
Okay. So like some gray among
maybe 45.
Sure.
I imagine he's had some hard miles. He's been ill-treated and not exactly had much clean living in the past.
That's right. I appreciate the clarification though, because I don't think Bram would think of himself as old by any means.
No, not at all. Yeah, great. I just wanted to, I remembered, I was like, oh wait, I think I accidentally got the wrong impression across about him. Anyway, great.
Thank you.
So go ahead, Jamie, Varric, you wanted to talk about
just to mention, by the way, we've Kirill told me that there were some people who were interested in us moving some products for them.
Oh, really? Yeah, so this could be a business lunch.
Exactly. A business lunch, as opposed to you're not going to ask him about his personal life, are you?
Nah, I mean, probably not.
Okay, it wouldn't come up, right? Polite conversation.
I mean, if he brings it up.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Right,
what's the deal? What are they moving?
Well, there's some people who need some paintings transported around. Yes, the Keltree Sisterhood.
Is that a challenge, or?
I think we have to acquire the paintings as well, and then transport them. So I think we might be stealing some paintings.
Oh. Like art?
Yeah, like portraits, landscapes,
of who?
Oils. I don't know these. I don't pay attention.
Why are we moving paintings? Are they?
It's not the paintings that matter. It's the people who want us to move the paintings. It's the Keltree Sisterhood. They're very high up there. Many connections can lead to more work for us.
They really like painting, then.
They're famous for
it. Bram's clearly just like stuck on this idea of like why the hell would we move paintings illicitly? Is there anything that I would know, just in terms of background, Ted?
You would know that there are, so you heard these rumors about the Primus of the Spirit Warden concerned about cult activity on the rise. There are certain types of arts and creations that are forbidden in Doskvol because they are associated with the occult arts. It is possible that these paintings fall into that same category. The Keltree Sisterhood is interesting because the Keltree family is a well-known noble family that has that isn't as active as they used to be, and the Sisterhood is an organization about which you probably wouldn't have heard necessarily, but they have this history of it's sort of like the as if you were encountering the Rockefeller fraternity or something. It's something that has this ring of nobility and austerity to it. But yeah, they also Kirill would have mentioned this sort of off screen to Varric that the Sisterhood had explained that the paintings were being kept by people who should not have them, and so they're trying to reobtain them. Right. Yeah, in Tangletown, which is off a little floating neighborhood off.
Okay, can you tell us what Tangletown is like? This neighborhood is floating, and it's called Tangletown.
Yes.
Give us some details.
yeah, absolutely. I will tell you a good deal about Tangletown, but why don't we do a gather information so you can learn a little bit? Like maybe you can get some really specific information.
Well, yeah. I mean, is it a regular old district? I don't know. I feel like I would go there if it were like a place that there was a reason to go to.
Sure. Yeah. So let me give you.
I'll gather information.
Cool.
Let me see what I should roll on that.
Yeah.
Consort, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I would just.
Yeah.
Do they ever kick back in Tangletown? Where does that happen?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll go there.
Awesome. Yeah.
Give me a sec. Digital dice.
Nobody carouses like Hix.
5.
Okay, great. So you're heading to Tangletown to learn more about it. Is that the plan?
Well, I'm gonna look at it from the shore. I don't know.
Sure, I love it.
Before I go out there, if it's just basically garbage tied together with feral people, I'm probably not gonna go out to Tangletown. I'm good.
I'll give you some info.
Give me some details.
You're like, come on, Ted.
Come on.
So, Tangletown is a small neighborhood that floats in the canal in between Silkshore and Crowsfoot. Or Ravensfoot, as some people are calling it these days.
Oh my God. I still want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tangletown is known as, it is a bunch of old sort of ships that are no longer really seaworthy that are being held together and have been lashed together into this large conglomeration. And there are buildings that are built on top of it. It is known as a den of vice, but is a very low class one, to the point where you probably ask your friends who are these you have some friends who are cabbie drivers who are always drugged up, and you mention Tangletown to one of them and they're like, oh, you really going for some hard stuff, eh? Because that's where people go to really get screwed up, and people who are desperate go to get screwed up. So there's a lot of blood needle there. There's a lot of people who are really in bad shape there. It's this mixture of it's kind of a rock bottom-ish drug den for a lot of folks. But hope springs eternal for the people of Tangletown. So it's also a gathering of thieves and ne'er-do-wells. So that's sort of the general vibe about Tangletown. If you were to go there, you're not likely to get mugged immediately. But if you stick around too long in too nice of clothes, you might.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm not sticking around anywhere in too nice of clothes, so. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't need to go out to Tangletown.
Cool. Yeah.
I've laid up in Tangletown a time or two, but
yeah.
I try not to go back to Tangletown too much.
Sure. Love it. So yeah, that's some info on the. Any more things you guys are curious about the Keltree Sisterhood, about the paintings, about Tangletown?
I'm curious about all of it, but I trust it will be revealed.
It's also juicy.
Yeah. Should we go see Carol?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, you have a meeting with Kirill. Do you end up having this meeting at his home or elsewhere? Like, where do you try to initiate the meeting?
Oh, I assumed we were going to his house.
Okay.
I think I sort of walked there slightly reluctant, like, oh, all right, sure.
Yeah, you can do
Could you wait outside for just...
As we approach, Brahm's like giving some sort of discussion about a topic he used to teach, maybe, I don't know, like economic theory outside of like an industrial society, and like how it applies to tribal peoples or something like that. And he's like,
And it's really fascinating. Oh, are we here?
Yes, we are. Could you just wait, like, 20 seconds or so?
Right here.
Right here, just sort of...
Yeah. I'll wait outside on the curb for you to go talk to the fancy man. I'll do that.
No, just for 30 seconds. 20.
No, I said I'll
counting
do
down,
it.
29. We go over and knock on the door.
Love it. So yeah, you are let inside by the butler, who, sort of looking and seeing Bram, says, closes the door very gently, says, Mr. Lomond, are you aware that it seems you may have been followed by a vagrant?
No, it's an associate of mine, someone I've retained the use of. I thought he might be helpful to introduce to my friends, Master Fairwind.
Let's roll a consort on the butler.
as the butler like peeks back out at me, I've lit up a cigar and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he opens the door again, looks at you, and then closes it again. Or maybe, like, peeks through the curtain. Yeah, go ahead, roll your consort.
A 6.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Yeah,
Get him in there.
the butler says, Mr. Fairwind has informed me that you are doing clandestine work, so I'm sure he would be very glad to meet your friend. Opens the door and calls. Says, "What is the gentleman's name?"
Bram.
Bram. This is. Does he have a family name? Or?
Bram Borden.
I see. No recollection strikes his face at all. The guy opens the door and walks out to the door and like pulls out a parasol. Maybe it started raining and says, "Please, Mr. Borden, come with me."
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind.
don't put out my cigar.
Yeah, like on the
on
the gate
doorpost.
Yeah, looks at the ash stain and just welcomes you inside. Shakes out the umbrella very, very simply. "Please do sit." You find yourselves inside the the drawing room of Kirill Fairwind's. As usual, sort of seems his norm. He eventually comes down the stairs with this dancing gait and says, "Ah, Varric, so good to see you and a friend. Hello." And he comes and embraces Varric very quickly and then shakes your hand quite vigorously.
Pardon me to intrude upon your hospitality. I very much appreciate you taking the time to meet with us.
Of course, it is so good to have guests. Otherwise, I would never keep this place in shape. It is immaculate. There's a golden mirror. It's just absolutely.
You're a very modest man. I can see that.
Oh goodness, you are too kind. We'll make sure to have some things brought in, and there's some little seafood, what are they called? Amuse-bouche that are brought in, and some other, maybe some afternoon drinks or something. He's plops down on the couch, crosses his legs, and says, "So, Varric, have you taken the time to discuss? I assume this friend of yours is another one of your connections."
Yes, we work together. We're associates in a firm.
Really?
Yes. Some of us more senior members, great groups of power, but yes, all partners.
I see. So he's one of your employees.
I have that pleasure, yes.
Wonderful. Now, have you taken any time to consider the things that I let you know about?
Yes. I've discussed them with him, and we're quite interested in helping out with the Keltry Sisterhood.
Oh, yes. Wonderful.
And I think you can probably tell the Water Lily Society that I have a perfect opportunity to help them with avian transport.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. You sound like you are quite on top of things. I will let the Sisterhood know. They would love to pay 6 coin for the job, if that is reasonable.
I glance over at Bram.
Seems fair to me.
Yeah.
Somewhere Aldo like sneezes because of that's the most just like off in the other world.
His ears just burn.
Just a meta sneeze of like.
If I might ask, there seemed to be one detail that could use filling in, and that was the content of the paintings.
Oh, that is a good question.
What figures feature in these paintings?
There are 3 paintings. 2 of them are landscapes, and the third is a portrait. The landscapes, if I remember correctly, are visualizations of the landscape of Doskvol before the city was built, or in its very earliest years. It's what's truly incredible about the paintings, as they explained to me, is that they represent architectures and systems of the city that are not particularly well covered in the histories, but which many historians have referred to as being quite accurate, eerily so, perhaps.
Yeah, so this would be in the period of, and Bram will like bust out some historical knowledge of the city.
Oh, awesome.
Just subtly sort of show that he actually probably knows more about this than this guy.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So
Varric's completely like, what?
I love
what is he talking about?
Yeah, and Kirill a little bit tries to play off that he knows what he's talking about, and then he says, "It's clear, sir, that you have the advantage on me in terms of your understanding of the history."
Well, that's very kind of you to say. I did used to study this material at one time.
You are a transporter of goods who at one point was a historian. Is that what I'm to understand?
Yeah, of sorts. I mean, I don't have anything published, so I wouldn't call myself an historian. More of an antiquarian. So I studied at Charter Hall.
I shouldn't be surprised, given that Varric is has decided to work with you. This is you both speak well of each other. Yes, as far as I understand, that is the era from which these paintings have come from, the very early days, before the city was truly became what it was. Before it was Doskvol, before it was Duskwall, back when it was North Hook. So that's the subject of the 2 landscapes. The portrait, if I recall correctly, was of one of the ancient queens of the city. I do not recall the name. I would have to get back to you on that and ask the Sisterhood. They were particularly interested by this. So yes, that's what I understand.
I appreciate that information. I was very curious as to why these paintings would be controlled.
Yes, I'm afraid I didn't understand it completely either. The sisters are very interested in the obtaining of rare art pieces. And part of perhaps, I believe what they hinted to me was that it would be difficult to obtain them by conventional methods and far more expensive. So I think they may simply be trying to get a deal on something that might be, something that wouldn't be appreciated in the hands of those who have it.
Well, we can't fault them for that. We do provide a service at a very reasonable rate.
You certainly do. They are.
Such a scene. This is such a good. God, I love it.
Like, we've never seen this side of Bram before.
I'm just eating this up.
Yeah, he's got, a cup of tea and occasionally, lifting up one of that food that you said the name of, which I'd never heard before.
Oh, amuse-bouche. Yeah. It's...
Naturally, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so any other questions that you have for Kirill as you're discussing the job with him, or anything else that that you end up being interested about?
Forgive me, I don't wish to monopolize a conversation. If Mr. Lomond has anything he'd like to
No,
ask.
no,
I'm
no,
all
no, no.
ears.
Continue. This is above and beyond. I mean, there's a reason I brought you to meet Carol. I thought you two would have plenty to say to one another.
You pay me well, sir.
Yes.
I did want to ask about the time frame. Is this an urgent matter? Something we could take care of soon, or?
They are afraid for the well-being of the paintings. You know that layfolk, people unlike yourself, are certainly not equipped to correctly handle this art, and especially if it is as old as they believe it to be, then it is quite difficult to be aware of how well it's being kept. So that is their major concern. But I think any time in the next few weeks would be permissible.
Well, I'm sure we can work that into our schedule. We're very busy, but we do endeavor to treat urgent matters as they deserve.
Appreciate that incredibly. I wish that the crew of my merchant vessel were half as good as you appear to be with your labors.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention.
Of course.
Yes.
I understand you're very well connected.
Well, it certainly is not a function of any virtue of my own, but simply that of my
Well, you
family's.
move in lofty circles. You've been to the palace.
To the Sapphire Palace in Whiteground.
Yes.
I have been lucky enough. I know that the first time was with Varric here. He and I were there for an afternoon, if I remember correctly. Your father was being presented with a medal by the king.
Yes, I could almost see him at the end of the room.
Yes, yeah, we were mostly in the back, and I've gone several times since then. No personal audiences, of course. You know, I'm merely a merchant at this point. But I've been. Have you been many times?
No, I haven't had the pleasure actually. Although I'm very interested in the well-being of the royal family, and there was certain rumors that had been stumbled upon recently that you were quite good friends with the Princess Livia. That perhaps you had seen her.
He appears somewhat taken aback. Let's roll consort on this. You can push yourself if you'd like.
I'd need to, because Bram doesn't have one dot in consort.
Oh no! Or Varric could aid you.
Can I
aid?
Sure. I was gonna, in addition to that aid, I was gonna make a case for sway, because Brum really is trying to put on kind of this air of familiarity, of social grace.
Absolutely, sway is perfect, and I think Varric could still aid. You have any dots in aid? I think you can aid other if you don't.
I have one in sway, so having two would be fantastic.
Yeah, I can aid with sway.
Cool. Yes. Yeah. So you just take one stress. Awesome.
Okay, that's a 6.
Ooh. All right. Oh wow. Okay. Kirill says, gentlemen, I am so glad to have some people who I can trust to at least confide in somewhat. I cannot speak a great deal, just given the sensitivity of the situation. But it is true that I have been several times to visit the princess. Nothing like the tabloids are saying in terms of the intimacy of that relationship is true. And you just get a little bit of the sense as he says that, like, it's not true, but he wishes it maybe were. So he may have been attempting to woo the princess, but he leaves that very much unsaid. But he says, but yes, it's a bit. It does appear that she has been restricted in her movements. Something she has done has displeased the king somewhat, and kept her from being given full free rein to leave. The only times that she's been leaving, as I'm aware recently, have been, you know, of course, that in the King's Assembly, the king has a seat and serves as the tiebreaker of any tied voting. Normally, King Calder has not attended the assembly in several years. Usually it is either Princess Livia or Liam Claremont, the Lord Regent. Gods preserve him. And she has only been allowed to leave, as far as I know, to attend the assembly, and for any important coming outs or festivals or things with the rest of the nobility. But yeah, she has been somewhat restricted. I wish I knew more about it, and I pray that you will keep this between us, between friends.
I wouldn't tell a
colleagues.
soul.
Yes, good.
You dirty dog! And he's going to hit him ineffectually on the shoulder.
Varric, she is a very charming young woman and very intelligent and well-read. And
What's something charming she's done before? No, I'm just curious. Like, what she say that's very charming to you?
Well, she, you know that she writes poetry.
I know that. Yeah.
Those poems are certainly quite charming.
Yeah. They're pretty charming, aren't they?
Yes.
He's giving him this kind of pregnant stare, and just like slowly steps toward him, getting closer and closer, and he says,
"You enjoy the company of that good woman, do you?"
To whatever small degree that I have the occasion, it is.
Yeah. It sounds like a small degree.
Are you quite all right, sir?
You know, I think we've taken up enough of your time, Kirill. We will get in touch with the Keltry Sisterhoods. Just thought that Bram would be an interesting person for you to meet. Bram, we need to be going now, don't we?
It was very good to have the pleasure of acquaintance.
It was my deep pleasure. Bram, was it?
That's right.
I hope to hear from you both very soon.
I expect a full debrief the next time I see
you. Yeah, we do.
He looks, it's like a back and forth between the two of you, as between fire and ice.
Wow.
So, you are given, you're not escorted out, but you know where the door is.
I'll let Varric drag me out by the elbow. Just kind of grinning and raising my eyebrows at him a little bit menacingly.
Oh my gosh.
Kirill sort of heads upstairs as you're leaving, but very much has all those moments of eye contact with Bram. I love it. Any conversation as you guys leave the house there?
I sensed a bit of tension towards the end there. Bram.
Oh, really? No, I was just asking him some questions.
You wouldn't happen to know the princess at all, would you?
Maybe a little bit.
I see. And you wouldn't hold that against my friend at all, that he's been
Nah.
seeing as such? No.
Nah. As long as he's seems like a decent bloke.
Kirill is the consummate gent.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is.
There's one thing I've learned about noble men with no accountability. They don't think their actions actually affect other people. I think they can get away with murder. I'm just going to make sure he doesn't.
I hardly think you need to worry about that. I've known Kirill many years.
Yes, I'm sure you've known him a very long time. Very good friends, bosom buddies.
Well, as a matter of fact, yes. We are good friends. I can vouch for him wholeheartedly.
Very good.
It just doesn't seem as though you're convinced.
Oh, I'll believe what you've said. Why don't we head home?
Yes. Why don't we?
Bram will sort of, I think, gaily make conversation about other things on their.
Oh, lovely.
Wow. What have I released?
So we've had a downtime action from Tess, Kristen, question mark, from Hix. Have we had downtime actions from others?
I'd like to, if we're ready.
Yes, please.
I think I'd like to find Hix. Hix is the best way. I mean, are you going to be in and out of the? No, I'm sending a kid.
Yeah, okay.
I think in this case, if this is cool with you, if I out in the street, like, you come here, go find Hix. Tell him I need him right now.
Find who?
I slip him 2 coppers.
Thank you. I'll find Hix Templeton for you.
Shit.
And I'll do
this.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. And I'll go back to my lab and keep working.
And then the kid comes to where would he go to meet you?
I don't know. He'd just find me on my routines, going from
Sure.
one place to another.
Yeah, he's like, oh, at this time of night, he like goes to like the area captain of his group of kids and says,
Right.
What bar is Hix in right now, and has to find you. And this kid comes up to you, sort of taps on your shoulder and says, "Miss Templeton, there's a foreigner wants to see you. He's at the Queen's Magnolia. Thought you should know.
Aldo.
He didn't pay me anything though."
Yeah, like Kelly didn't. I'm gonna give him 3 copper and slap him in the back of the head. And I'm gonna turn to this group of like fucked up Taikarosi like punk rockers in wherever they party.
Yeah.
And
this is in the docks.
Put my head down on the table and do one more big old line. And, kiss them and hug them like brothers and allies, and then I'll walk out the door and go meet up with Aldo.
Amazing. Yeah, all of them, as they're Taikarosi, they have all these strange features. Like, one of them looks like his eye is constantly streaming black tears.
Oh my gosh.
They never stop. And one of them is like skin is like sharp and edged, like scaly all over. And there's this woman who has no nose, and like the bone is just like actively visible all the time. And yeah, they're just like, and they're awesome. And it's like
we're at like this goth bar or something. It sounds awesome. Man, when I was in high school, if I could like have one eye cry black tears all the time, I would have been my perfect vision of myself.
Dream. Yeah, one of them, his hand is a tentacle. Like it's just
sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Freaking Taikarosi, man. No one knows what makes them that way.
It is a gift.
Yeah. So it's in the docks, and yeah, you head out and eventually make it back. However you get back to Central.
Great. Yeah. I'll
Incidentally, the tentacle arm is what I would have wanted in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Cool. Great. Well, I'm gonna walk down. I mean, I'll go directly to the Queen's Magnolia, feeling, pretty great.
Awesome.
Walk down in there, and
you find Aldo at work. What does he find down there?
I think this is gonna have been a couple days after
the dress,
and everything.
Yeah.
And as you come in, there's like a crate on the ground that's got a bunch of dead rats in it, and there's a few more piled up on the things. It's in much more of a sense of kind of disarray. And as you come in, Aldo, he sees you, and he's kind of like pulling his hair back and rubbing his eyes, and he's like, oh, yes, Hix, you got my message. And he comes up and grabs you on the face and just like double kisses your cheeks.
Hello, Aldo.
I need your help. I am so close.
Great. What did we do?
And
what are you doing?
Jam a syringe into his neck, and
God
inject this thing I'm working on. And as I pull it out and I say, I'm so very close, but the rats keep dying, and I need to move on to full human. They're too small to handle it, and I know we're very, very, very close. So here, sit down. He brings him over to the thing.
Shit.
Okay, how does it feel?
Warm.
Warm, good.
Warm.
What else?
Kind of soft.
Mm-hmm. He like pushes some stuff down and grabs a pencil and he's scribbling on something. Warm, soft, yes, what else?
Like sort of like I'm in like I've been surrounded by pillows.
Yes. Is this where I want this to be my tinker roll to advance
roll
my
it.
clock. Okay.
Roll it. Yeah, you adjusting it or just no pushing, no anything?
No, I will just roll it flat.
I'll aid by paying stress.
if you
it fits the fiction.
You're like, please don't let this go wrong. At this point.
Yep.
Clearly, I mean, you can see, Hix, that Aldo's like probably been up for like 2 days, 3 days. In here working on this by the number of rats and mess that's going on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's 3 dice.
Yeah.
You got this.
Oh, I've got this. Here we go.
What could go wrong with 3 dice?
Okay, it's a 3.
that could go wrong.
With 3 dice?
3 dice. It was a 1 and a 1 and a 3.
Amazing. So that I think it's normally there are no consequences to a roll like that for the tinker.
Consequences,
but
yes.
Given that it was
absolutely, this is definitely a function of
given that human experimentation was involved.
Yeah.
So I think Hix is going to take a level 2 harm, which is going to be it's going to be exhausted. I think you can choose to resist if you want. You could resist it.
Yeah, I'm gonna resist that.
Great. So resisting in this case, sometimes resisting will completely take it away. In this case, it will reduce the difficulty of it by 1. It'll reduce the harm level, so it'll take it down to harm level 1.
This would be prowess, probably. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Let's do prowess. Yeah.
that 1 tick.
That's 1 tick plus the 2 that you've got with your power with analyst.
All right, 5. So I'll just take 1
so you
stress.
take 1 stress. That's fine. And then you take level 1 harm, drowsy. So basically, things that require you to act quickly or to pull off something, or like running away. Anything that involves speed is going to be somewhat reduced. So you just for like the next couple of days, you just feel like, ooh, it's just like the melatonin, man. Whoa, okay.
I think in that moment that this is all happening, he's like, good pillows, yes.
And at this point, okay, wait. So you rolled a 3?
I rolled a 3.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, in this case, I'm going to. My eyes are going to begin to droop, and I'm going to vomit onto the.
Oh! No!
And then sort of my eyes roll into the back of my head, and I'll just fall down onto Bram's cot, dribbling vomit onto his pillow or something.
Oh no! And then
it seems
down.
like I'm overdosing or something.
Oh
yeah, you're gonna have to save me.
Yeah, I think in this moment, he writes down first, vomit, passing out, and then he puts the notes down, and it goes over and Hix slaps his face a little bit. Hix, are you on something? Nothing.
Out of it. Just passed out. So I'm responsive for the next probably 8 hours.
And I will, dig around within whatever I have. It's probably edge. I'll just shoot him with some adrenaline.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this is how you save someone from an overdose.
Right?
Yeah.
You shoot. I mean, We've all seen Pulp Fiction, right?
right. So I'm just like, oh, and so I find the
Great,
carotid and just shoot it up in there.
Just like sit up and be like,
Yes,
Aldo.
yes. What? It's close. It's good. It's good.
Listen, man.
What?
Consent. You said. Just talk to me about this first. Good God.
It's
like there's like a syringe sticking out of his neck, like smoothing my hair.
I've just we're so close. It's for the crew. It's going to be very good. You're helping.
Okay. I'm helping. Great.
Oh, you're helping, and like checking his pulse, like grabbing his hand. I'm helping. See, okay. Not so bad. And, like wipes a little bit of the vomit off of the corner of your mouth.
Very tender of you.
Okay. Well, someone needs to clean this up.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna go home now.
Right.
Goodbye.
Of course.
Goodbye.
Hix, thank you.
Bram comes
pieces. I'm walking
coming
away.
through the door, and Bram's like,
Oh, so tired. I could fall asleep right now. I didn't sleep last night.
Yeah.
comes over to his cot.
Wait, Bram.
The hell is this?
It was an experiment. It went very, very well. Very well indeed.
Yeah, it looks like it went well.
I will clean it up. And good as new, yes?
All right.
No.
I'm gonna go sleep on the floor then.
No.
I imagine it's like 4 p.m.
Yeah.
He grabs a bottle and goes to sleep.
Nice.
Hix, maybe as you're like sort of staggering up the stairs and out, Madame Belorma comes up to you and says, "Oh, Hix, are you okay? Oh, you look terrible, my little boy."
Just another night for me, madam.
No, please, we have beds here. Do not walk all the way back to wherever it is that you live. Please, stay here. One of the girls, one of the boys can keep you company, maybe.
Great. I'll take one of each, thank you. And I'll allow these beautiful people to lead me away.
Yeah.
Fade to black.
They take you up the stairs, and it's maybe I don't know if you've ever done this before with people at the Queen's Magnolia, but
well, I mean, I'm not in the spirits for fucking. So
yeah.
I'll just let them take good care of me and tuck me in. Thank you very much.
Yep, so they take very good care of you. They got bowls of warm water. They got cloth on your head. It's very tender.
Hix, thank you very much. That does finish out my clock for what I'm calling blackout. So it'll work.
Named.
It'll probably work. I'll tweak it.
Cool. So any downtime actions from? Well, actually, before we do that, let's take a couple minutes break. And then we'll jump back in right after that with a couple more downtime actions. Well, at least one from Bram and Varric, and then second ones from everyone. So, we'll see you all after the break. Stick around it'll be just a couple minutes. So, thanks all.
Good.
Hello and welcome back to the Contraband. Thanks for sticking around with us during our break. Before we jump back in, I just wanted to thank everyone in the chat. This has been such a fun and delightful chat going on so far. And we noticed there are several subscriptions from Elisirian, and Kaz got gifted the subscription. Anyway, so great to see all of you. Thank you for engaging, and it's fun to have you here. So yeah, we're super excited to continue with our game tonight. So we're still in the middle of downtime. Just finished with some human experimentation. You know how it is. It's great. It's so fun.
It's going to work. It's perfect.
And what is, this is totally just for my curiosity, Carson, what does blackout look like? Like in the vial, what does the liquid look like?
Oh, it's definitely, it's like if you look at it, it's pretty much opaque in its viscosity and thickness. Cool. But if you hold it up to a light, you get a faint kind of like dark green,
cool,
kind of like that. So it could be mistaken for black. Yeah, it's just kind of
cool. Yeah. Awesome, very cool. And so you just got like syringes of it essentially.
Yeah. For right now, it's
like
good.
Victorian style with like the metal. Bracket.
Oh yeah, it's like a copper or brass syringe. Yeah, absolutely.
Like they're super scary ones.
Yeah. It's funny that like a certain era's technology looks to us like everything from that era just looks like a torture device.
Yeah, I love it.
Very true. Modern sensibilities.
Ah, this is for therapy.
Oh yeah. Whose?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so I think Bram and Varric both hadn't done any downtime actions yet. Is there anything you guys wanted to do?
I was interested in doing something that is potentially an acquire asset.
Okay.
I was wondering, are there things like, probably should have asked Carol about this while we're there, merchant licenses.
Oh, there are probably varying types of, this is licenses basically to be allowed to ship things in the city.
Just to have something that we can like flash if we get stopped by someone. Like, no, see,
very cool. Yeah. So for the size of boat you have, there are no like official like merchants with that, but there are fishermen who have fisherman licenses. So there are some people who go out into the void sea. So like they go past the lightning wall, so they need to be approved to leave the city and come back in. So like a fisherman's license would work for the rough penny. You could get sort of like a provisionary one. Anyway, so if you're to obtain it as an asset, you would need to have something that is at least tier 3, I think, in order for it to be successful. Basically, the way that acquiring an asset works is you roll whatever action it is you are doing to try and get the license. Then if you are less than the tier required, like the minimum tier required, you have to pay coin for each tier lower than the desired one, if that makes sense. No?
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah,
maybe?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you could totally go about getting a fishing license like for the rough penny.
Okay, yeah, I would like to do that.
I love it. That's sweet.
Yeah, and I would like to justify it by telling whoever I'm purchasing the license from that I am a recent recipient of the Mara Hardenbrook annual scholarship competition. And she's requiring us to begin our own businesses. And so I really desperately need their assistance right now to get this license so that I can do the best to impress her.
Okay, love it. That's great. Yeah, let's. So you go to this office in Northern Brightstone. They have an office in the docks, but you feel like with your Brightstone upbringing, it'd be a little bit easier to pull it off here. So this middle-aged woman is the attendant. She says, "Oh, I did hear something vaguely about it. That's very impressive. So go ahead and roll your consort or sway, whatever. This will count as your acquire asset roll."
Okay. Drop 5 and a 2. 5.
Okay. So yeah. So the 5 means that you're at the same. We'll figure out what the rule is. Let's treat that as like you've got your tier +1. So if you wanted to get like she's basically like, oh, there is a fee associated, so you'd have to pay 1 coin to get the full fee.
All right.
To get the full license.
I'll give up that coin.
Okay. Great. So yeah, in doing so, you get a very nice, like, stamped license on this very nice parchment. It has like the king's seal on it, like the one that represents the city. It's signed by there's this like very officious looking older man who's looks very sleepy. Who she says, take this back to the master, and he'll sign this for you. And he goes, and you sort of hand it to him, and he goes, yes. Like, not even looking at it, signs the thing, and you head out this sort of marble, beautiful hall out back into the smoggy dark of Doskvol. But yeah, you now have an official license, which you'll have to hold in something to keep it from if it gets wet, that would be bad. But you could package it up or something. As I say, paper license. But all right, cool. Yeah, so you could use that for future purposes. It'll be a temporary license, so it'll last for probably the duration of a few scores weeks. Basically, there'll be a point at which I'll say, "Oh, you'd have to renew the license," kind of thing. That's how acquire asset usually works for it's acquiring something permanently usually requires more effort. But this is just temporary scores. Yep. Yeah. Sure. Love it.
Can I ask, is Tess around at all during the next few days?
Yes, I mean, you can usually find her sewing costumes at the theater company or, lurking about.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Bram will kind of stumble through the lobby of the theater. Is this like am I thinking like Victorian style theater house?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the Histrion where you attended the first one. It is this like deeply wrecked and ruined old theater. I mean, like all of the wallpaper is peeling. There's a broken chandelier sitting in the center of the floor like a weird centerpiece. Like it's fallen off. It fell off the ceiling many years ago and has like not been moved. Though any crystal on it has been stolen. So it's just like the iron frame of a chandelier on these like cracked tiles. And then like the theater itself is like pretty in bad disrepair. But yes, it is like a Victorian theater.
Yeah, so Bram's got his tweed coat on, and he's kind of fiddling with his, I don't know, like a matchbook or whatever the equivalent of that would be, and is walking through, kind of looking around, like very curious, doesn't want to talk to anybody, but eventually, like, Tess probably sees him outside the costume shop, and he's just, like, craning his neck looking in.
Bram, are you here for the show? It's not until 2.
Oh, no, I mean, I'd like to see the show, but no, I was looking for you. You're in here. Good, I found you.
It seems you have, yes. I suppose. Do you want to come in?
Is that a good idea? Are you working?
Yes, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
What do I call you? Right now?
Oh. I see what the issue is. Well, of course, I'm Mary Grace. Nice to meet you. And
Mary
she'll hold out
Grace. Very, very good to see you, Mary. I had a question. I don't know if it's a good time.
Good as any?
Yeah. So, are you concerned about the Bluecoats?
Quietly, he says this.
Am I concerned about the Bluecoats?
Yeah, you seem to have a working relationship with someone high up, and I was wondering if you were looking for an opportunity to reduce some of the heat, so to speak.
I'm listening.
Well, I thought maybe we could go in, plant a little evidence, start an internal investigation, might get them tied up a bit. Keep them off the trail for when we want to go out and work again.
What sort of, why don't you come in? And she'll sort of usher him in. There's, I don't know if it would be a rack, but, costumes sort of piled here and there, sort of tucking into a corner.
Bram's got like this conspiratorial grin as he's like acting like I'm in a play.
Perhaps she'll whip out her measuring tape and sort of,
Oh, that's good.
And she's sort of measuring different, armpit to wrist, shoulder to hip. So what sort of thing were you thinking about?
I don't know, drugs.
Drugs.
Oh,
Drugs.
Something incriminating.
Drugs is good. Drugs is a classic.
Right. Something to get their attention on those officers. Make sure those officers can't move about freely. Especially if there's anyone who's bending the rules already. It might put a little more attention on them.
I think we know where to acquire the drugs, and
Yeah.
I think I could certainly help out. You know, in a different character, in a different capacity. I think I could quite easily sneak in, perhaps.
Very good. Very good. I bet there are more that I haven't seen yet.
Characters, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, always new ones. I'm working on you. Me and Varric are sort of trading back and forth, figuring out. You know exactly. You know, it's the gruff voice, the big presence, the cigar.
He looks suddenly very self-conscious.
Are you gonna do it or?
Oh well, you know, it's sort of like down, and then your chest vibrates a little bit, and you talk about things like economic theory and gift economies, Marcel Mauss, and how one might perceive of a alternative to the capitalist system.
Wow, that was good. The content of that was great.
The voice, you don't agree then?
Oh no, I mean I don't sound like that, but it was very well done. So maybe tonight, do you have any time?
Well, after the show, yes, I could maybe perhaps meet you at the Queen's Magnolia.
Yeah, I'll be in the greeting line outside. I always like to talk to the actors.
Oh, I have no idea why, but
they do such a good job. How do they memorize all those lines?
A mystery to me, Bram.
It's amazing.
All right, so...
All right, I'll meet you then.
See you then.
Later that night, the show has just finished, and out in the lobby, so there's a few audience members sticking around, and the actors, you know, their faces as they come out into the lobby, it being clear how sort of the strange effect of makeup at close range. They come out and are greeting people, and Medley Everett is talking to folks, and Epola, the big sort of muscle of the Velvet Patchworks, is talking with people and hugging a friend who came to see the show. Bram, do you interact with any of them?
Oh, definitely, yeah. When Tess comes out, he's like in the middle of having a conversation. He says,
you know, I've always wanted to do theatre. When I was in school, I did some school plays. It's kind of like what you folks do.
Oh my gosh.
It must be so much fun.
Theodore, the producer of the Velvet Patchwork, says, "Yep, yes, it's a great deal of fun. So good to see you, Mr. Borden."
Yeah, I'll be here at the matinee.
Wonderful. So great.
I'm here to see this woman, Mary.
Oh, what can you do? What can I do you for?
Just meeting you for our dinner.
That's right. We have a dinner.
He looks at his pocket watch. It's like, I don't know, I imagine it's like 11
p.m.
Yeah.
Dinner to discuss economic theory, perhaps.
Yeah.
Theodore looks at you sort of nonplussed, and there's this younger man in the company who plays a lot of other women's roles, because Medley Everett, the playwright, is a woman, but she always wants to play all the sort of main male roles. So there's this young boy who has to play all the engineer roles. He looks at Mary Grace and then at this guy who's taking out to dinner and looks somewhat crestfallen.
As we're walking away, I'll just give him a little spank. Like a little, just a tease.
Yeah, of course. And then it runs off towards the dressing rooms.
So I imagine that I've hit up either Hix or whatever stores we have of stuff we might be.
Yeah, I mean, you would just find me and ask for how to get some drugs, and I would just be like, and I'll pull out this large bundle of trance powder that's wrapped in seaweed, and I'll be like, here, take that.
Okay. So Tess notices this huge bulk in Bram's coat pocket, and he kind of starts to show it a little bit. He says, "I've got the drugs."
And we need that much, do we?
Well, it's got to look incriminating.
That's true. I guess the more the better.
Yeah. I mean, within cost efficiency.
As long as it's cost efficient.
So you're in Six Towers. That's where the Velvet Patricks perform. So the Six Towers precinct, which happens to be where Wilkes Danbury and crew are located. There is the precinct there. Was that where you're thinking of making this drop off?
Specifically, I was thinking about the person who I had seen Tess interact with. Do you remember, Kristen? You made a bluff against. Was it the
minister
or something?
No, magistrate.
Yes, the magistrate. Oh, yes. That's who you were referring to. This makes so much more sense.
Sorry, I should have been clearer.
You're good. Yeah, this was in our session 0 for viewers. But yes. Yeah, he's.
I don't know, and I'll ask Tess about that and see what you think in terms of strategy. I just wanted to try and reduce some heat since we've got a lot on us.
Cool.
And he would have been the magistrate over the district that Tom lives in, which I don't think is Six Towers.
Central Night Market, but you can. I'm totally happy with that still applying to your heat of just distracting police.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, whoever seems like the most reasonable. Because Bram doesn't know about your more recent run-in. You might say, "Have you had any more recent interactions with the Bluecoats?"
No. Someone maybe stopped by, said something to me, but nothing that was too concerning.
All right. Well,
I just thought you seem to have a bit of a knowledge about what they're up to. Any candidates you might think we should focus on incriminating? We want to keep their hands tied, so we're not being pursued.
Right, of course. Well, I do think perhaps the magistrate that he's a good candidate in that he's already suspected of certain troubling allegations.
Very good. He's a right bastard.
Just so.
Oh, good. Let's head that way.
And Bram might sketch out a bit of a kind of general plan, but he would leave the details of infiltration and stuff like that up to you, I think.
Right. And at some point, Tess will sort of slip into an alley and come out in her thieves' blacks.
Cool. Yeah, so you know that the magister has both, Magistrate Denon is his name. He has both, where both his personal home is in Night Market and where his office is in Night Market. You could go to either of those locations. Basically, in order for the reduce heat, it won't be like a score. Basically, there's only a single action you roll, but so basically the question is what action you guys would like to roll in the process. And we'll count this as Bram's downtime action, but you can make the roll and he can aid you or however you want to do it. I
mean, I imagine it would be a prowl.
Yeah, it seems very reasonable. Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
All right. Does Bram want to aid?
Yeah, if that's the best way, that works for me.
Okay.
I'll aid.
Cool. So, the girl will sort of grab the drugs, again, sort of heft it and be like, "This is quite a lot." Try and slip it discreetly into her pocket, and then make her way to the magistrate's house. She knows the layout because she's been here before.
Yes.
And she knows where to slip it. I think probably into sort of a drawing room drawer, something that he might not open regularly, but that we could easily point cops to.
Gotcha. So he won't get rid of it fast enough. That's great.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, make the roll.
How much stress should I take for that help?
1.
Awesome.
Yeah, aiding is 1 stress. Pushing yourself is 2.
So Bram is now at 2 stress.
Nice.
Three.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was 3 dice.
Yeah. Yikes. We had to type it twice. So they're on a reduce heat. Basically, rolling a 1 through 3 means that you only reduce 1 heat. So you're not going to have bad things happen as a result of downtime action. It's just that the good things that happen are of lesser quality than you would intend. So you get inside the house. What do you think happens in there, Kristen? To make this not as effective as you would have liked it to be.
I mean, this is what makes sense to me. Is I've planted the drugs, and
Yes.
We go to make the anonymous tip off to the police, right? That there's drugs. The police are a corrupt organization, and
Yes.
perhaps they don't care as much as they should.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, a magistrate taking drugs? Great, wow, thanks for that. We'll write that down.
we make the magistrate like a little nervous, like a little
Sure.
I mean, he
Yes.
finds like a ton of drugs in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad someone was
Drawer,
in here.
there's already drugs lining it.
Yeah. This isn't where I left my stash.
That's great. Do you?
Yeah, it was a flawed plan, admittedly.
Kristen, does the girl find anything of hers in the house? Is there anything that she accidentally left there in the past? Piece of clothing or anything?
Sure. So she'll sort of be like, you know what? I actually did really like that pair of stockings. And she'll try and
Nice.
sneak into the bedroom. Perhaps I know he has a trophy drawer.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
Oh.
Men like this sometimes do.
Oh,
And take those stockings back that I liked so much.
nice. You also, let's say, just for fun, this is just like me completely just having fun. Let's say you also find a silver ring
Great.
that if you would like to take it from the trophy drawer.
I would love to take it from the
So that's these are all these rewards for rolling a 3.
Wow,
Three dice,
generous.
yeah.
Yeah, so nice. Anyway, so yes, you've reduced some heat. Great. So everyone has done 1 downtime action. What's the rest? What are the plans?
Okay, at some time I would like to I mean, I want to get a hold of Bram and the girl. I want to get them together. I don't know if y'all are actually gonna like go discuss the plight of the worker after this or what, but
Yeah, maybe we agreed to meet up with you for drinks afterwards, since you were kind of involved.
Wonderful. So I get the details, and I'm like, okay, how would y'all like to help me blackmail someone?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, perhaps, Brom, before we agree who and why and what?
Yeah, that's smart. What's that?
Oh. Well, remember that guy we ran into, the blue coat guy, Wilkes Danbury, gave us his name like a dumbass. That guy, I've been following him, and he's up to some pretty tasty stuff. As a matter of fact, he's selling blue coat secrets clandestinely. A couple nights a week, he'll stay after, rifle through the files, and he'll take some of those to a location in Silkshore. So yeah, so I need some help, blackmailing him so that he can do whatever we want, for one thing, but I intend to have him get some of this heat off of us.
Do you know who he's selling to?
No, I do not. And that's where you come in, miss. What do I call you in a setting like this?
Well, it depends on who you're addressing, but
I'm addressing you.
Oh, that's more complicated.
It's
perhaps,
whatever you like.
Tess is comfortable for now.
Great. Okay. Tess, that's where you come in. So, just after he's scheduled to make one of these drops tonight. This is a part of his routine.
Right.
In the next hour or so, he's going to be leaving the Blue Coat Station and heading there. So what I want is for you to sneak into wherever this is, discover what these secrets are, while Bram and I, while Bram does the heavy lifting, and we confront him and scare him.
I can certainly do that. I mean, especially if you're distracting him so thoroughly.
He'll be thoroughly occupied.
Cool. So basically the way that this will work is that whoever you between the three of you can assign, well, I think probably Hix would be preferable. You make whatever roll you're going to make so this is going to be a reduce heat action. Whatever role you want to use against him, and then
cool.
And then Kristen, if you want to use a gather information roll to attempt to a prowl, or gather information, meaning any role that you want to apply to trying to detect who the people he's selling to are.
Yes.
Great. I'm going to do command.
Awesome.
And I'll push myself. And
Bram, you could aid him in that.
I don't mind just pushing myself. But I'm gonna do so I get 3 downtime actions because of a special spider ability I have. So I'm planning on reducing my stress after this.
Nice.
So
cool.
Yeah, it works for me. I mean, if I don't have to take stress, but I can be there narratively.
Sure.
Yeah, well you're the one who's gonna be stressing him out. He's gonna be stressing you out. I'm the one who's gonna be doing all the fast talking.
Great.
Love it. So there's this abandoned house in Six Towers, which is kind of a funny phrase given that like 80% of homes in Six Towers at least appear to be abandoned. But you follow the misty road down to this dark place, and you just see a couple candles lit inside this house. So am I understanding correctly that Tess is going in first to sort of survey the situation to see what she can discover, and then you're coming in? No.
I mean, kind of what I was thinking is that Wilkes would go meet with this person who I haven't been able to discover the identity of.
Yes.
She would, after they make this exchange, Tess would either follow this person to wherever they're going.
Yeah.
Well, just like try to get information about who this person is.
Yeah.
While Bram and I get him alone. Well, get him compromised and scare him. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. So basically you're waiting until the end of the meeting. They're splitting. She's going one way with them. You're going with him.
Right.
Cool. Love it. Let's have Kristen roll first then. What action do you want to do? Yeah.
Prowl.
Great. Yeah. That makes total sense.
I'm just sort of trying to observe from a distance and
yeah.
And if at any point they sort of set down the secrets, I'm gonna obviously try and go over.
Yeah, totally. Love it.
Oh, that's a 3.
Okay. The meeting is very quiet, and you notice that the house is near enough to the canal that there's a lot of boat noise, which you think might be intentional to sort of to mask anyone who's trying to listen from the outside. As the meeting ends, as it does, you see 2 figures in black leave the building in one direction. Neither of them you cannot tell really anything about them. They're moving in the shadows, but 2 silhouettes head out and disappear in different directions as that happens. But meanwhile, Wilkes and the others have headed out in their own. He's headed out.
Wait, so Wilkes is with a group of people?
I said that. But that was not true. I said the wrong words that I didn't mean to say.
I'm relieved.
Wilkes, by himself, leaves. He is completely alone. Yeah. He even might stick around in the building long enough that you could like get into the building and do it in there to make it even quieter if you wanted to.
Wonderful. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool.
So
meanwhile, like Tess is just like going down the street, like maybe following a little bit of a distance, but still can't. Yeah, they're just like lost. These figures.
Cool. Great. So we'll just walk in after they leave and hopefully just catch Wilkes there. Yeah,
he's there. He's like sheathing up like some coins and like maybe some paper checks into his pockets and stuff, and like sorting it all up, making sure it's not going to make too much noise. And he looks up and says, "Oh, was there anything else?"
He just sees the light of Bram's cigar flare up and reflect in his eyes.
He goes, "Pardon me, gentlemen, we weren't scheduled for this evening." And he starts to like turn it as if he's going to leave.
Now you've had a full night.
I'm sorry. Do you need something? He puts his hand like gently on the pistol at his waist.
I'm gonna need you to set that on the ground in front of you, and as he turns to me, I'm gonna have my sneaky spider palm pistol leveled at him.
Heck yes! Oh, awesome! Yeah, your little derringer, amazing. Yeah, he he sort of is turning around, and he sees that and takes his pistol, picks it up, drops it on the ground. You want to go ahead and roll your? I guess I should have you roll your command first before we see exactly what he does.
Let me roll it. Okay, that's a 4.
Okay, great.
A success.
Yeah, so we're going to reduce 2 heat from this. But let's play a little bit more of the scene. He says,
So I'll just say
ahead.
after he sets it down, I'll just say, Wilkes Stanberry, I've been following you, and you've been very, very sloppy, and you're going to really hate yourself for that in the future. Because now, I know what you're doing, and I know who you're giving it to. And so now you work for me.
I'm willing to cut a deal with anyone.
Okay.
As long as the price is right.
Well, tonight the price is that I'm not going to let this large gentleman here cut your fucking head off.
I start taking my coat off. Fold it over my arm.
And what you're going to do for us is you're going to reduce some of the attention on our organization. Do you understand me, Wilkes? You're going to agree to do this, and then you're going to do it in the next 2 days. Or this man is going to cut your head off.
Yeah, I understood that part.
Right.
Am I allowed to know who this organization is that I'm supposed to be? Have I met you before?
Yeah, you met us the other night on the canal boat. Don't you remember me? Or, I mean, this is probably like this normal dick swinging thing that you do with every boat that you stop on the canal, is you treat everyone this way.
Look, okay, I think I do remember you now, given this sort of attitude and tone of voice. Sure.
Don't get that a lot, do you?
No, never, no. Look, okay. You know what? I am a reasonable person. I'll head to the precinct tomorrow night. I'll have some documents disappear. How does that sound? That seem good to you?
Seems good to me, Wilkes. Thank you.
Do we believe him?
Yeah, you do. You can do if you want to make
what's his situation at home? Does he live with people, or does he care about? Did he visit anyone who he might care about?
Yeah. You had a critical success. So I mean, that's a gift that keeps on giving. So I'm gonna
milk it.
yeah, you better. I think he is separated from his former wife, but they do have a young son who's 7 years old.
Name?
His name is Tyrell, Tyrell.
Great. And Wilkes, I'm gonna know whether you do this or not. And if you don't do this, then we're gonna visit Terrell.
Oh my god.
Because I know where he does during his day.
I would hope so, given he's fucking 7 years old. Look, I agreed to what you said. I'm not here trying to make enemies. I'm here trying to make a living. Okay? I understand.
Great. Wonderful. We'll be in touch, Wilkes.
Good.
And then we'll go.
Awesome. Yeah, you watch him head back to the precinct, like visibly shaken and like shaking with frustration and fear. Yeah, and eventually you meet up with Tess.
Great.
That was really good.
That was scary. I was scared the whole time. Oh god, I'm so glad you were there. I'm like visibly trembling.
Yeah, Bram will just like put a hand on your shoulder and steady you.
Did it work? Because I'm really sorry, but I lost them in the dark.
Well, I mean, we'll get another crack at this if we want. We can sort this out. They've been doing this for a while.
Right.
I think that they have a regular working relationship, so I think we'll be able to try again if we need to.
Cool.
Right.
All right. Did you want to do your indulge fights, or what, anybody else? Carson, did you have a downtime action you want to do?
I got a quick downtime action.
Yeah.
I'm curious though if Varric wants to come under the guise of studying the lower class for your acting, if that is something that Varric feels like he's at. Okay.
Absolutely. I was gonna. My downtime action was gonna be a study, training in study action. So.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
Can these be
works.
connected, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
link 'em.
Here's how I imagine this goes. As we pick us up down in the sewers, and I'm replacing rat traps down here, little have a heart traps, and just kind of. Now you see, and pulls out one that has already died. There are plenty of resources if you know where to look for them, and the smell you get used to. So.
Do you really?
Oh, yes. I mean, if you want, though, I could give you something that might improve that for you. But I tend to think, blend with it, bond with it a bit. You'll become one of us before long. Oh, sorry.
No, just. So, what do you use these for? Kind of nudges the rat carcass with his foot.
Oh, when I need to try something out on one of my projects, for instance. I mean, you're aware. He opens the coat and kind of taps a couple syringes he's got on him right now. This is
claps his hand up to his neck to be like, I didn't get stuck,
no.
right? Yeah.
It's it's not a perfect science, and sometimes you need a little bit of resources to work through to kind of work out the kinks. Here, try this one, and then pulls him a trap that has a rat in it. Pull it out, put it in the bag. We put it down. We get another tomorrow.
I really okay. Can I roll to see how it's going to survive with this?
Heck yeah. What you gonna roll?
Finesse.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. I have 1 in finesse. Hey, 6.
Amazing. So how does it go?
Reaches in and just grabs it by the tail and hurls it back. Where am I storing it?
Oh, we have a burlap sack, probably.
Yeah,
It's a
just
sack of rats. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
tosses it basketball style. Holding the bag open into the bag.
Oh,
Fishes it.
well done.
That was
yes.
incredible.
Oh, right. It's a bit of a rush, having. Well done. And he puts the trap down. How do you feel?
I feel like I need a rag or something for my hands. Do you have anything?
I'll pull out a kind of. It's pretty clean. Yeah, little handkerchief and and we'll head on our way to where I'm actually going from. But,
cool.
now, you wanted to see what did you call it? The more unfortunate, what was it? The lower...
The lower echelons.
Ah, yes, the lower echelons. What a nice word. The lower echelons. Now we, Hix, Bram, S, this is your experience so far. I want you to meet somebody, the truly lost. And we arrive at like a creepy little shack, and I knock on it, thump, thump, finger, finger, thump. And we've arrived at Eckerd's little back door.
Nice.
Yeah.
And this is his place of work, the shed behind the chapel. Great. Yep. So this is in southwestern Charter Hall. There's this chapel of the Old Faith that's there, and a large cemetery grounds. And there's this gravekeeper, little residence place of treating corpses. And you knock after all, and a voice from inside says, "What the hell do you want?"
It's me.
Okay. All right. You hear sort of thumping around, and then you hear a large as like a body is moved. And he steps forward and opens the door, and you see a figure there. Carson, what does Eckerd look like?
Oh, Eckerd is if you're a Mr. Filch kind of fan, you're a big fan of Eckerd. Who there's like images of like what was probably a young handsome face, and has just been like turned to leather with stress and poverty and kind of greasy hair that he kind of tries to slick when he sees someone as fancy as Varric, maybe. I don't know.
Varric's holding a handkerchief sort of up to his nose.
And you see on his left arm, he has 2 visible wounds that look like they were bullet wounds. Also,
like fresh?
No. They are older, to the point that you might have treated one or both of these bullet wounds.
Yes. Okay. I was like, who shot this guy?
No.
Okay.
Eckerd says, hello there. Come on in, Aldo. Who's your friend?
Varric Lomond.
Yes, Varric Lomond, my friend.
Charmed. What a lovely abattoir. Yeah.
Isn't Lomond like the king's name or something?
I wish.
All right.
I wouldn't surprise you with a guest like this, but he's a very curious lad, wishes to sort of shadow me on my day, as it were.
I see. Is he one of your people, your crew that you guys are with now?
My little crew? I see.
I've heard
gotten
of that.
Around. Well,
it seems like you found a replacement for the crew we had back in the day.
This is a better crew. What can I say? Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm sure the
used
dead
to
would
work
agree.
Together.
Aldo's just...
We fought together in Catalan.
Yes. Aldo was telling me about that. Dreadful.
It was a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah, all of life is dreadful. The war was... At least we had something to do, I guess. But Aldo here is the reason that I didn't lose an arm. So,
and
so
for that, you keep thanking me and thanking me.
Yes, for that you come asking for favors from me every 2 fucking weeks. All right, so come on in. Yeah, what do you want?
I need I'm here basically to just acquire assets that will help me replace. I need to craft more of this.
More blackout.
More blackout, more edge, or whatever. So I'm here to just acquire assets to help me craft that.
I love it. Make the...
Great. Actually, I'd like it...
Sure.
Let me do it this.
Yeah.
I would love for Varric to roll this. So this is how I think it goes. And I want to give you some assistance Because it's basically like, here, come here, this is how it works. And I hand him an empty syringe, or you know, whatever we use to extract from this, and we go to one of the bodies that, okay, right here, see, you feel this? Kind of, with a bit of force, you know, when they've been dead for a while, it's kind of hard to get it in. Give it a good push. Yes, good.
Are you putting something in Lady Mulburn?
No, we are taking it out. Okay, now draw it slowly. So I'll let you roll if that's cool with you, Varric, and I'll give you a
dice.
A dice assistance.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is this
Yeah, what would this be?
Yeah, is this a tinker? Is this
I would think it'd probably
a study?
It might be about finessing, you know, where you're drawing the fluid from and the purity of the fluid that comes out.
Yeah. So among those options, anyone that you think is particularly good for you?
Okay.
Fair?
I'll go with study. I've got some study.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
I think it's
Great.
like, look, see, okay, no, it's getting a little, it's, no, yes,
Okay,
no,
no.
just tilt it. You see the color, don't let the color change.
I see the color.
Yeah, it's like blackish blood. As you explain a little bit to Eckerd what you're making, he sort of lets you do this and is just sort of, you know, he's working on his own things. Like at one point, there's this like teenage boy, probably 14 years old, who died working in the Coleridge factories, who he like hefts over his shoulder and like puts down, and like you see a surprising gentleness from Eckerd dealing with this small person's body, which you notice and recognize, Aldo. But he puts this down and is working on that, and also he eventually leaves the building for a couple minutes. You collect a good amount of this stuff. Eckerd also comes back in and says, "You're making something to help people sleep. Here, this could work." And he brings you a bunch of purple flowers from the cemetery gardens. And he says, "You boil these down. They'll be a good ingredient as well. You don't just need to take everything from corpses." And he gives you some of those. Yeah, well, he says, you know, "Fuck you, you idiot," or something that allows you to keep that presentation.
Yeah, very good. No, I think that's fine. I
mean, he is that way.
Yeah, he accepts it and he's like,
nice guy.
He goes,
I
this
guess.
better work.
Here's some purple flowers. Fuck you, you idiots. Eckerd has seen some shit.
Yeah. And I think I'll accept that.
I just had that impulse of like, I was like, wait, this guy maybe has empathy in his heart.
He does, sure.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
Of
Eckerd.
course. We all do.
How dare you humanize our enemies?
Don't.
Oh, man.
And as we finish it up, I kind of probably dabs some of the cold sweat on your forehead, Varric. Good. That was good. You did very, very well today. Now, tell this nice man to kindly fuck off, and we'll be on our way.
It was nice to meet you. Kindly.
Well, just like pulls him out.
Yes.
Yeah, go away.
Good luck with your corpses.
Oh, just hear him mumbling to himself.
And then, real quick, I'll say, wait here 1 second. I forgot something. Back real quick. Not quite.
What the hell is it now?
Thank you.
Yeah, don't get yourself fucking killed out there, huh? Saved your ass too many times.
I'm sorry. That's funny coming from. And then he just turns in on his heel. Wooden heels clocking down the road.
Love it.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So that was both of your downtime actions. And so let's roll do you have to roll training or do you just get the experience?
I think you
roll it. No.
Okay.
Nope.
No, you just get it.
You mark 1 XP. Yep.
You spend the action, right?
Studied things tonight.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, we got you studying real hard
I
tonight.
studied a lot.
Love it.
Do
That's
we
great.
we have training in
prowess. You can get improved training and prowess skills, so you can get 2 XP instead of 1.
I should have gone for. Oh well.
What are you training in? A study, you said.
Yeah, study. Yeah. So I've got
I
1.
think it's all right. We don't have to. I mean, this is from the GM who doesn't want you to min max, but you don't have to min max. It's fine. Cool. All right.
Cool.
So yeah,
I think I just have one more.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. So my vice is pleasure. So I think I'll just go home from dealing with Wilkes Stanberry and try to get some cold beer.
Nice.
And some hot water to fill up a bathtub if possible.
Ooh, great.
And I'll just sit in it and drink beer and have a good cry, probably.
Great. I'm into
Just
it.
for the sake of brevity, I'll roll this.
For the sake of brevity, I'm going to get into a bathtub and weep.
Yeah, and then just indulge my vice a little, work out the stress of this sordid life.
I love it.
Great. Cool. So I have 4 stress, but I rolled a 6, which would usually lead me to overindulgence, but I have another special ability which allows me to adjust my dice outcome by 1 or 2. So I will adjust it down by 2 and clear all of my stress.
Amazing. Gosh, that's such a cool ability.
It's so nice.
It's amazing. Great. You are clear. You're free and clear. Did Bram and Tess get 2 downtime actions? Did you still have? Yeah, I feel like you still had 1, Tess, definitely.
Yes.
We've all been just like in each other's like actions this whole time. It's like
I love
hard to
it.
keep track.
Oh, I'm
It's
so into it.
For the sake of brevity, I also just want to be training in insight. And for that, I'm just sort of working on my costumes. I have a new play coming up, and working on those skills for Tinker.
Cool. That sounds great. I love that. So you're starting to develop towards more Tinker depth. That's great. Yeah. Does Tess ever go to see Daniel and Bathilde during this downtime at any point?
Oh yeah, she's there probably twice a week or so. She stops in to check how they're doing.
Cool. I think one of the times you go there, we don't have to make this a long scene or anything, but one of the times you go there, there is a new figure in the house. You come inside, it's like this sort of, it's like kind of grimy, like Bathilde's always trying to keep it nice, but there are like outbursts. There are moments when like Daniel will be in the middle of a meal and his hands will twitch and he'll like throw his own plate accidentally and just like, and it's also just like super smoggy coming off the river. But this time you hear a creature sort of yelping, and then it runs out of a doorway, and Daniel says, "Oh, be careful, little one." And a small dog runs up to you.
What the? Daniel Bathilde, there's a creature. There's a dog.
Yes, it's a dog. It's a dog. Look, remind me which name they call you by. They call you Tess, or they call you Jilly, or they call you?
Oh, they call me girl. They call me girl.
Yes. Yeah, girl. Look, no, look. It's a dog. And Bathilde says, Daniel found it down at the factory. It was lost from somewhere. Someone had. Maybe it was just a feral, but it's really quite nice. And you look down, it's this like kind of ratty little mutt. His like fur is sort of patchy and confused, brown, but with some sort of blondish elements as well. But looks up with you, these like enormous brown eyes, and it's just sort of like licking the air in front of you as if it's gonna get you.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
I know this dog.
Bathilde, honey, darling, this is definitely a feral dog. And one more mouth to feed, and one more creature to take care of for you.
Bathilde is sort of weighing this, and Daniel says, but it's cute, you see? And it deserves a second chance. You know? Every creature does. You should You should give it a name, Tess. Yeah, girl, you should give it a name. We haven't given it one yet.
Oh, I'm not good with names, you know that.
Well, that's kind of the irony, isn't it, my dear? You know, the way you could give this creature a name and, you know, you don't have... I think it's reasonable. I'm sure you could come up with a great one.
I'm not... I could give you options, maybe. And she's sort of nudging the puppy with her foot, like she's not into this.
Daniel sort of looks around and looks back and says, "You should give it a name, girl. You should give it a name.
A name.
We haven't given it one yet."
What's in a name? Okay, so a name should define a characteristic, perhaps, of the dog.
It seems like you're thinking about it a bit much. It can just be a name.
Okay, well, oh dear. A name needs to define a person. It needs to, I mean, it's the thing you carry with you your entire life. I don't know how anyone has a name. Daisy, or Piglet, or perhaps oh fuck, maybe.
Watch your language, dear.
I'm sorry. She'll take out a copper, put it in the jar.
We kept that jar at the orphanage, and we keep it now.
How about
I like Piglet, says Daniel.
maybe
Me too.
Louis?
Well, he is brown and yellow. I suppose Bluey is fine. Yeah, sure. I think Bluey's great.
You don't like it.
Daniel says, he looks down at the dog and says, "You should give it a name." And Batilda says, "You've already said that, dear. You've already said that."
Louis,
Says,
Daniel.
Oh, I've said it already. I'm sorry. You've said
It's
it
okay.
already.
Oh, darling, no, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
And I'll go over, pat him on
I'm
the
sorry,
shoulder.
Piglet. I'm sorry, Bluey. I'm sorry, girl.
Perhaps both. Many people have 3 names. Some people have more.
Many.
Batilda takes the dog up into her arms, says, "Bluey. Yeah, well, we'll try out all those names, and you can see if you come up with the final decision. I think you'll like him in the end. See, he likes you.
Oh, he doesn't smell very good.
We'll wash him. It'll be fine. Come here, little boy." All right. So, and they head back with the dog. Anyway, I just wanted to put a dog in your life. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted.
And ask me about names.
Yeah.
Good scene about name.
Yeah, I wanted to poke you with some themes, you know how it is. Great. So was there just a last downtime action with Bram, or?
Yeah. Bram's gonna go see Marlane. And I don't know what, like, we probably are seeing each other sporadically. Recently things have gotten, we've gotten back together a little bit more intense. But this time he's a little bit like physically standoffish. And as I enter her flat, say hi, get a drink, have a seat, and then eventually work into a line of conversation.
Marlane, have you heard the rumors about the fighter, the Craig Fates?
Yeah, one who died, yeah?
Yeah, he died fighting that Taikarosi chap.
Yeah, Judas Pickett.
That's right, Pickett.
It was after the fight, though, right? It was a couple hours after.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, in terms of regulations, but he killed him. We can agree on that, can't we?
It just seems like it, yeah.
You knew him.
Craig?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I fought him against a couple of times. He's a pretty good fighter. He beat me. Not this year. I didn't fight him this year, luckily. Yeah, he's a tough bastard.
Well, I just wanted to see if there was any information you might have or know of anyone who would know about this
Pickett chap's fighting style and and anything really.
Is she still in the tournament?
She's still in. Yeah,
the Mudfire Crown.
Both of you are still in the Mudfire Crown. Yeah. Just in terms of framing, is this a
gather information?
Gather information. Okay. Great. Then yeah, let's make a roll to see what she knows.
Okay.
Of it, whatever it can be, consort. It can be kind of however you want to frame it. That makes sense. Study.
Yeah. Let's see if if I walk through whatever leads she has, and then we can go through and maybe either together or me alone can study.
Cool. That's great. So what she'll say is, she knows that Judas Pickett he's been in Doskvol for 5 years. Came from Tycheros. He lives in Coleridge, as far as most people know. Did some labor down there. No one really knows what he does for work now. But yeah, he spends a lot of time in the Tycherosi bars, probably in that goth bar where Hix was hanging out. The Tycherosi people often like stick to themselves a little bit just because they're, irregular to other folks. So yeah, any other specific information? Oh, fighting style. When
do you want me to roll the?
Go ahead and make. Well, basically, you. What I was saying was, here are some angles that you could go down and
okay, cool. Yeah. I'm curious about his background. I want to take my time. Work out the old research brain.
Yeah.
And study up on this guy's past. And see what I can glean about him now. Weaknesses, anything like that.
Let's make the roll.
Okay, it's a 5.
Very cool. So you'll get some partial information. Tycherosi people have an ancient fighting style. It is almost as it's a hand-to-hand style, particularly. It's as well known as Alkebulani swordsmanship, which a gang, the Sashes that you have met previously, employ. Tycherosi fighting is part dance, part combat. One aspect of him particularly is he's got this sort of demon blood arm, which it may have sort of potency beyond normal human capacity, which is it's problematic for them to disqualify a person because of a natural inborn thing that they can't change. And so it's this question of is this fair? But yeah, he's Tycherosi fighting style is old enough that you could do some more research potentially to learn a little bit more about it. Really, the best way to learn about it the best way to learn how weaknesses or ways to counter it would be either to train a little bit in that fighting style or to learn the other historical fighting styles that were built in times of war to counter it. So that would be the general immediate response of things you would learn in the next few sort of days researching about it.
Nice. Yeah. And then you take advantage of that time to also spend time with Marlane and.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So the two, how's the feeling between the two of you at that point? She's going around researching the stuff with you and heading to like maybe in the back of that bar, that Tycherosi bar, there's another fighting ring that's lit with all these purple lamps. And they just and you see some of them doing this really dance-like fighting that is really kind of beautiful and with these big old leaps and people kicking each other and just really gorgeous combat.
Yeah, cool. I imagine we're a little bit awestruck at first, or at least Bram is, having not come into close contact with this style before. Yeah. But eventually, we have a fight about something, who's going to cover the check or something like that, or maybe Bram didn't bring, any cash, and she has to pay for it, and she just gives him tons of shit about it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, she ends up just getting annoyed, and you get this. You hear a little sort of mumbling under her breath, and there's this. At one point, maybe she's been quiet for a long time, and you're like, "What is it?" And she says something to the effect of, "I just didn't think this is where I was going to end up. Whole damn life." Just mumbling to herself.
Yeah, and when Bram hears that, he kicks a chair over and grabs his coat and walks out.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Great. Ooh. So your So gathering information is technically not a downtime action, so you can do like an official other downtime action if you'd like.
Just keep on.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I'll just run down the clock with
like not gonna do any
unconstructive.
scores.
What do we need scores for?
That's fine. I don't need another
What,
downtime
money?
action. I'm good.
Okay, great. So you guys were potentially thinking about jumping in on this Keltry Sisters thing. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Let's freaking do it. Okay, so I am just gonna drop us with a fortune roll right into it.
Oh yeah.
Any what loadouts are y'all gonna take?
Normal.
Normal.
Okay.
Normal.
Heavy.
Nice. What did you say, Jamie?
Also normal, yeah.
Great, cool. So, yeah, what's nice is that you all have, from the early parts of your, the early days of your crew, you had developed this really nice rigging that allows you to conceal a bunch of the stuff you've had on you. So you all, except for Bram, all of you look like just regular citizens walking through. It's a really foggy evening. Late at night in Tangletown. You have been informed of the general location of where these paintings are. There's this 2-story little ramshackle building on the edge of Tangletown, and they told you that there are some people who are holding it there. You have a pretty good sense of exactly where it is. And as this, you're heading up and getting to this location. And look up at this building, just sort of like this tilted thing that it's surprising that it's even standing. Just like everything in Tangletown seems to defy the laws of gravity, and all of it is sort of constantly moving, and not in this consistent way. Because if you're on one boat, you're able to like generally say, okay, this is swaying. But if you're on 7 boats at once and stepping between them, they're all like hitting against each other and moving around. Like everything is just sort of constantly at odds. In Tangletown.
I'll say, in more ways than just that.
Yes. So you sort of, how do you go about approaching the house?
Well, I mean, okay, so we're gonna bust in here, find the paintings, take the paintings, and just leave, right? That's the game plan?
Mm-hmm.
Probably sneaky style. I mean, we have options here, don't we? We can.
I think we should try to not attract as much attention as we can. I know that's against our usual fashion, but
Yeah. There's
Okay,
assault,
so we do a
deception, stealth, occult, social transport. Yeah, stealth seems reasonable. Yeah.
Cool, let's stealth up.
All right.
Could I
So,
prowl
yeah.
forward and just try and do a survey to like assess, weaknesses and stuff?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, go ahead and make your prowl.
Or survey? Like I'm prowling,
Yeah.
but I'm surveying.
Love it. Yeah,
Great.
that's great.
5.
Okay, so from a nearby, maybe like you climb up onto another rooftop nearby and try to look through the windows. Does
Oh,
that seem reasonable?
definitely. I climb up.
Yeah, so just like clamber up, and this whole place is like kind of fun. Like it's so climbable in the sense that there's like all these ropes and rigging, like as if you're on some like, Escher ship that's just been like, transformed and strange. So you're like climbing up this like rigging of this neighborhood, and like you pass by a window where a couple of people are eating some like food out of these gross bowls, and they're like, and you climb up to the roof and look into the windows, and you see there are several people in the upper room. There are some candles lit, and you get the sense that there are some large, like as you're like sort of moving around the roof, you see that there are these large wrapped things that could certainly be the paintings that are inside this space. You hear a little bit of conversation, but then as you're up there, this is from a controlled position, so you get the sense that if you're going to be up here too long, they're going to see you, so you're able to sort of back down from that. That's what the consequence of the 5 is. And you hear like some talking inside as people are sort of their voices are frustrated or concerned about something, but you're not able to gauge exactly what that is.
I convey all that to the group.
Cool. Are they strapped?
They are pretty ragged, like most everybody in Tangletown, but they are all armed.
Like with guns or with melees?
Knives. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We should distract some or just sneak.
I mean, they are in the same room as the painting. Paintings.
Get him out of there somehow.
We could. I don't know.
I could walk in and inquire, pretend that I'm there to purchase the painting.
They're gonna stab you to death and take your coat. Is what they're gonna do. Shit goes sideways in Tangletown, man.
I don't think I come across as that easy.
Come on now.
I mean, go for it. It's as good. It's better than any ideas I have. I was gonna ask Aldo to burn that other ship down, but perhaps there's not much finesse in that.
He's
I
like,
can go with your plan.
okay, so not this.
Why not both?
Why not both, Aldo?
I'm ready.
All right, so Varric, are you going up to the door?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Let's. Okay, so you knock on the door, and after you hear some voices, and someone says, "Is this someone you called for?" "No, is this someone you called? Who is? Is there a buyer?" "No, I don't know." And then eventually, like, someone comes down, and this like sunken-eyed young man with like draggly black hair opens the door just like an inch and goes, "Yes."
I'm here to pick up the materials.
"What materials? What do you mean? Who sent you? What's your name?"
You know exactly what I'm talking about. The stuff upstairs. Now, we don't want to have this conversation in the open. Come on.
Roll consort or sway, or what do you think?
Probably sway.
Sure.
I think someone should be with him.
Okay, this is what I want to do. Is while he's going up there, I want to. Okay, so Tess was able to see all of this through a second story
through a window. Yep, second story window.
Okay,
Yep.
so I think I would talk to Tess about us both prowling up there and trying to cover him somewhat through the window, if that gives us any sort of vantage on the people in the room, maybe at the door.
Totally.
Hix, it's so fun. And then I'll start showing all the handholds and like, oh, just grab that and pull yourself up there.
I'm like not that good at it. But.
Sort of want to. Can I be like your associate, Varric? Is that safe?
Yep. I mean, I don't know how safe it is for you. I got a 2 and a 1, so.
Well, I'm going in.
Don't want to be an associate.
So let's roll first. Tess, Kristen, let's roll the prowl action. When you lead a group action, so I learned about this rule recently, when you lead a group action, the other people involved, so Hix, you will also roll at least 1 die, or however many you have in prowl, to a minimum of 1, even if you don't have 1 in prowl. Okay. And then we'll take, Kristen, your number, well, the highest number gets taken in terms of the success, but for any failures by other members of the group, you take a stress. That's how leading group actions work.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So you will be able. So everyone is benefiting from your skill, but you can potentially suffer if other people are making it harder for you.
Great.
You know group projects. You know how this goes.
Got a carrot.
Cool. I rolled a 5. I have 1 in prowl, and I rolled a 5, and did not ruin it too bad.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Kristen.
I also rolled a 5.
Okay. Great. So partial success. What happens is, so this is sort of simultaneously, you guys are climbing up the rigging. Varric, the door opens and this young man grabs you by the collar and throws you inside the house. You can choose to resist this. You will also take level 1 harm from your head striking against the stairs as he throws you against it. So those are 2 separate consequences. You can choose to resist any of them.
I will resist the level 1 harm from my head.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, let's make that resistance roll. So that's prowess resist.
Guys.
You take 5 stress.
Yeah, all right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm at 7 stress.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the reason that you suddenly become so stressed is that like you get thrown against the ground. There's like cobwebs on these stairs. It's just like gross and weird. Above you, the ceiling of this house is covered in occult scrawlings in like chalk and in other like weird substances. It is creepy as hell in here, and there are 5 other people in here with you. 2 more of them grab you by the shoulders as if they're are coming as if to grab your shoulders and maybe trying to drag you upstairs. So, and then meanwhile you hear people sort of shouting at each other, and someone says, "Close the window!" And they go in and slam the window shut as you guys get on top of the rooftop.
Motherfuckers, damn it.
So,
yeah, I mean, let's go in there. I mean, I feel like as soon as the window is shut and I hear Varric getting like yeeted into the building, I would be like trying to get through that window. I mean, if I couldn't see through the window to fucking blast one of these motherfuckers, I'd be jumping through it.
I have climbing gear. Can it be like a grappling hook that I, like
yes,
hawk
it
on
can.
The answer to grappling hook is always yes.
Great.
So
then you agree with Batman.
I agree with Batman.
As long as you like grab me around the waist, like Luke grabbed Leia, and like swing me over there, I would like I would oblige that.
He's like a full 2 feet short, not probably like a foot shorter than Hix. So like, here we go.
Kiss you on the cheek for luck.
Oh, love it. So yeah, let's make a roll to see how that that grapple works.
Finesse?
I will aid.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
Without
finesse and
taking
aid.
Stress. I planned this by
Yeah.
this being my idea. I don't know.
Yeah, how did you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. So we'll deal with that in a second. Aldo and Bram, what are you guys up to right now? Where are you?
Is there a chimney or back door or?
Yeah, a couple things you notice. There is there isn't a stone chimney on it. I mean, it's just like a wooden little building. The wall on one of the far sides is like significantly like weak and looks like it's just made of like a few boards, and there's lots of open spaces. That could be pretty more easily broken through than the door. The door, like you hear it lock, this like really crappy rusty doorknob that is locked. It's actually probably even not a doorknob. It's just like a latch that they've swung shut. You could still try and break through the door. It's not. I mean, this is all garbage architecture. So those are a couple ways in. You could climb up and try to do like you see kisses Tess on the cheek, or whatever this moment is.
It's an approximation of that, yes.
Yeah, something like that. As they're like looping this thing across. But yeah, what are you guys attempting to do in the meantime?
We may be together, Bram. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds
good about it. But I'm thinking about the weakest wall will be an entry point. I feel like we need to get in there and we need to do it surprisingly. And I think
you're gonna Kool-Aid this.
Yep.
Okay, then Bram will pull a sledgehammer out from under his coat with his heavy load.
What are you packing a sledgehammer for? That's great. I love it.
Oh, this old thing.
Yeah.
Heavy load.
Oh my god.
I love that. Okay, so you have a
Is
sledgehammer.
that an unusual weapon or a large weapon?
Which is more squares.
2 squares for a large weapon, I think.
Let's do large weapon, yeah.
Okay.
You had to carry a sledgehammer here.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sometimes you just want to hit someone in the skull with this.
Amazing. All right, so let's. So you're gonna roll wreck on the wall? Is that basically the plan?
Oh, me?
I mean,
sorry.
Is that the plan?
I assumed I was following your cue as the demolition guy.
Great. Okay, I was like, okay, we're gonna. Yeah, fantastic. I have demolition tools with me, and so, of course I do.
I'm just like, this wall's made out of like toothpicks and fishnets. You're like, let's put the mortar down.
If we don't need it, then I'll just smash through it.
It is. No, it is.
No. This is how it goes. I'm like pulling out charges and setting them, and you're like, we could just go through with this, unless you don't want to have that in your hand.
Excuse me. May I?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah, roll
Okay,
the
can
wreck.
I wreck the wall?
Yeah, let's roll it.
All right. With wreck, I roll but 1.
Oh, 1?
Yeah. Do you want to help me, or should I push?
I can help you. I can help you.
Okay.
Oh.
That's a 3.
Okay.
This is resounding.
Like the head of your
smash
sledgehammer flies off as you raise it up.
So
like goes through another wall behind
There's
you.
this huge crash as I hit the wall, but don't break through. Maybe, I don't know, voices of people crying out from inside.
There are, so like you smash against this and like hear some more shouting inside, and as this happens, you feel a slicing as someone stabs you in the ribs.
Oh gosh.
There are 2 people behind you who have crawled off of like out of the nearby alleyways in these same black clothes. They're like, and so like that's level 2 harm to each of you. Let's roll resist.
I'll resist.
Both of you are.
I'm gonna
Just
resist.
Bram is saying,
Oh, it's a bit harder than it looks. Ah, shit.
Amazing.
I'll let you roll first, and then I'll do mine.
okay, I rolled a
Prowess
4.
resist. Great. So 2 stress, and that is reduced to 0. Like,
The harm is.
yeah. This is not. Yeah, this is the kind of thing where it's not as. Really tough harm will be reduced only by 1 level, but this is not.
All right, a prowess resist. 6.
Okay, great. No stress. Amazing. Meanwhile, Tess and Hix fly through the air towards these shutters that just closed. I just roll a fortune roll to see how well the shutters survived. Your boot, I don't know, Hix or Tess, either of you, slams into the window and it shatters, blowing scraps all over the inside of this place. You find yourself in this gross room. The ceiling is covered in occult scrawlings and stuff, and there are 6 people in the room here, all of whom are brandishing knives and other things. One of them is takes a burning candle and shoves it into her palm and starts to go with this like strange noises, and fog starts to pour in from the windows, like very slowly. It's not going to fill the room yet, but she is doing some occult crap. So yeah, 2 guys below. Your blow against the wall did do some damage. We'll basically just treat it as a really small clock, which if you get another like even partial success, you'll get through. So,
Okay.
Varric, you're on the ground. They're maybe. What have you been doing in the meantime?
I said as they pulled me in, like, I swear I came alone, and then the huge bang on the outside of the wall happened.
And then the window explodes.
Oh, Varric.
Amazing. And the one above you says, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
Can I look around at the like occult markings, or like?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of focal point of the room?
In terms of you're trying to understand like the center of like the ritual space?
Yeah.
Or...
Is there a ritual location, like a center?
It appears to be centered on the part of the room where the paintings would be, according to what Tess had told you earlier. Basically, like it comes up to this arc in the center of the room, and then like more paintings. Like it looks like it's a mixture of like intentional scrawlings and like dribbled paint and chalk and blood. They're sort of moving up the stairs, so you think it's likely centered on the paintings themselves.
Okay, and is it the same room as Hix and the girl?
You are like down. You're halfway down the stair from them, so the stair ascends into that room. You're halfway up it.
Okay. I'm going to say I was pulled here by the power. I feel it coursing through me. Ah! I'm going to stumble forward, acting as though I'm being drawn against my will by a higher power.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's how do you roll this performance?
I'd like to call it a sway.
Sure. Yeah, you're trying to act. You're putting on a show for these guys. I love it. I'll give you a devil's bargain.
I'd love a devil's bargain, yeah.
The devil's bargain is that you will feel drawn by the power.
Oh, you devil!
He's a
You
devil.
Get it in your bones, boy.
you
It's
devil.
all good.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Love it.
How'd it go, Jamie? Tell us. tell the folks at home.
Well, before I did roll just before you offered Devil's Bargain, so I got 2 ones there. I was like, okay, I should take the Devil's Bargain. And I got a 2 on the Devil's Bargain.
Oh
so-
my god!
Wait, you rolled 3 dice and got a 2? Oh
It's
my
fate.
gosh,
It's
that's
that dark
amazing.
power.
Darkness.
Yep,
So
don't mess with powers you don't understand.
So you like stumble upward sort of into the mess of this fight that's happening, or they're like all these people sort of in the standoff about to blaze into combat of some kind, it seems, and you feel like your heart suddenly pounds in your chest much slower, like it's someone else's heart beating inside your chest, and you hear this sound of tides like incredibly loud in your ears. You cannot hear anything else. The room entirely blacks out except for the paintings, and you hear a voice from the paintings speak to you and say, "Oh, Manda." And you take level 2 harm called by the tides.
Oh.
Wow.
So you could choose to resist if you want, or you can just.
Oh no.
You also don't know how Called by the Tides will affect you. It'll be sort of out of your control as to what things it will affect.
I will take level 2 harm.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just write Called by the Tides into your level 2 harm slot. You, Tess and Hix, you both watch as Varric stumbles up the stairs, sort of putting on this show, like, "Oh, I'm called by the power," and you guys are like, "Oh my gosh, what is he doing?" And he like, but everyone's sort of surprised and confused. He puts his hand on the banister and then looks towards the paintings, and he looks back at you, and his eyes are just like this foaming mist of like ocean spray, like for a moment, just like sort of this superimposed over the reality of his eyes. And that is where we will end our session.
Oh boy.
Cool.
So, thank you all
Christmas.
so much for being here. Oh my gosh, what a jam that was. That was so fun. We are going to be joining a raid. We'll be raiding the Venture Maidens. So if you want to stick around and support their channel, they would love that. And we'd love to do that. We love supporting other creators. Please tune in next week at this same time on Friday nights. We're really excited to continue doing this adventure. Tell your friends, bring them into this horrible, dark thing that we're creating. We've got all the VODs both here and then on YouTube. We're posting things. So if you ever want to check things out, please go to YouTube and put a comment there. All of that, obviously that is, for our own benefit of, promoting our stuff and getting it to more people. But we just want to share this cool thing that we're making. So thank you so much for being here. That's really the most important thing. It means so much to us to have you here. So thank you. Yeah. Anything else I need to announce that I'm forgetting, guys?
I just think thank you so much for coming. Lots of
Yeah.
We've got
pretty
Zoa
good.
Stardust Sunday morning at
yes.
10:30 a.m. Central Time.
It's
Yeah, if you-
so fun. It's so cool.
It's really delightful. If you want to, anthropomorphic animals in space, Treasure Planet meets Zootopia. It's so charming. It's really
Who
wonderful.
doesn't?
And Ted composed some amazing music for them, so that's
It was really fun. Yeah, it's really goofy and fun. I really like it. It was really great. So, yeah, thank you all. And yeah, Carson, take us away. Good night, all.
All right. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Night.